Hey guys, thanks for tuning in once again. Another session is in the books. For those not in the know, what we've been doing is adventuring through the homebrew world of Daanal Wisech. Me and my fellow nerds are recording our Discord feed during our 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons, homebrew sessions. And it's been pretty good so far. So thanks for tuning in, everybody. And hopefully it's as fun to watch as it is to make. So enjoy. And without further ado, we'll set you up with this next episode. Well, all right, let's get this underway then, eh? We'll go ahead and start with just a quick recap so everybody's on the same page. So last session began around a pile of dead bullywugs. The party was quite injured after the battle. Some shenanigans and whatnot took place. A fairly decent made bullywug suit was crafted. The injured party soon discovered a limestone cavern ahead. They rested, and in this cavern they found the waterfall where the man-made hole had rerouted the river to the caverns below, to some unknown location. Outside of this cave that you guys had stumbled upon, a few caravans met and joined up to camp nearby, and the party watched them from their hidden location. A battle ensued just before dawn as terrified screams alerted the party to the goings-on within the camp. Posing as merchants, the coming caravan revealed themselves to be slavers, and in the process of looting goods, the goods of the people of Hatma. After much fighting, the two remaining members of the enemy party yield, one charmed, the other terrified, and are quickly subdued. And that is where we are now. So, battle has just ended. One had thrown down his blade at the terrifying abyssal speak that Locris kept saying one after another after he was dropping opponents. And then, I believe Blade's charm effect had held the other. So you currently have subdued a bard, one of the bards and one of the rogues from the combat prior. And aside from that, there's a bunch of bloody lumps in the sand of your dead enemies. So what do you guys do from here?
Renwick's going to look over at Gladier and be like, these people seem to have came from the town. Perhaps you know some of them. Maybe you should work on freeing them, and we'll work on getting some information.
Yeah, that sounds good. Why don't you try and see if that fat fucker over there is still alive? And I'm going to toss Renwick a healer's kit to see if maybe he can stabilize the leader.
Pretty sure I shot an arrow through his throat, but I mean, you can try.
He might have made his death saving throws.
I like how you toss a healer's kit to one of the guys that took him down. Just like, hey, can you go see if you didn't kill him?
First of all, it's your fault he's dead. Here's the healer kit. Go fix it.
So Renwick will catch the healer's kit, and he'll just kind of look down at it and be like, I'm going to be honest, I don't know how to use this thing, because mechanically I have a +0. And then he'll hold it up and just be like, does anybody want to take a crack at waking the big man up?
Yeah, I guess I can go ahead and give it a try if need be.
You
And
can do it. Yeah, with the healer's kit, you don't need to make a medicine check. That's the upside to a healer's kit. You just use it, and it stabilizes them if they're still making death saving throws.
I have a
But
+4 to medicine because my wisdom is so high.
but while they do that, I'm gonna go. Glader is gonna walk around and start. Actually, no, because they're on chains. Can I search one of the bodies and see if I find any like keys to these shackles?
Yeah, go ahead and give me an investigation check.
While he's doing that, Locris is going to go find his mace that got dropped and pick it back up.
Oh yeah, and that's your summoned weapon or your packed weapon or something like that.
My packed weapon, yeah.
Yeah,
Or,
you just kind of sense it. You don't even you know that you dropped it, but you don't really have to look for it. Like you just kind of sense like where it is. It's like a part of you.
Not a great roll, but it's 11 investigation.
With 11 investigation, you don't really find much. What you do find out upon going through the pockets of the fat man, is that he's for sure dead. he's not struggling with saving throws. He's for sure dead.
Oof.
But he doesn't seem to have any keys or anything on him particularly. I mean, you do find a leather pouch and a written letter on him, but aside from that and his like armor and weapons, not much.
All right, well, I'm gonna pocket the pouch and the letter. I'll read that later. Kind of deal with the captives first. I'm gonna just don't have any sort of lock picking stuff.
You have a rogue in the party and a half rogue too.
I'm just gonna walk up to one of them and just kind of like yank on the chains, and then turn back to Renwick. You know what? Scratch that. I think that guy's like he's dead. Can you help me try and get these shackles off of these captives here? So let's get them all freed first, and then we can figure out what to do next.
You notice that maybe it's because they're dragonborn, but not only are they shackled at the feet and the neck with like iron collars and like anklets that are chained together, they're all chained. That anklet neck brace chain is chained to a master chain. And aside from that, they have all been gagged and blindfolded and had their hands bound behind their back with like leather wraps. Like it seems like these guys weren't taking any fucking chances on these guys breaking out. They're basically grappled and restrained.
Yeah, so that would make Glader furious, and he's like heavy breathing, like death glare in his eyes, and he just, while he can't do anything about the shackles, he's going to start, moving down the line, taking out the gags off the blindfolds, taking off the leather restraints on their wrists so they can at least, see and speak and, move their hands. And he's just going to move down through every one of the captives and remove all that stuff.
Okay, while you're doing this, let me turn to the party. What are you guys doing while Gladier's starting to free his people?
So Renwick's going to take notice of Gladier obviously being affected by these dragonborns that are shackled. He's going to look over at Blade and say, perhaps you should have a talk with your charmed friend over there. I'm going to go help the big guy free his family or friends or probably just people he knows from town. But this is despicable and we need answers. And then he'd make his way over and just start picking locks and like getting all the like chains and muzzles and everything off.
Okay, you have a thieves tools, I assume.
I am almost certain, but I am pulling up the equipment to confirm. I do. I have thieves' tools.
Okay, go ahead and give me we'll call it a sleight of hand, and you can add like your thieves' tools proficiency and whatnot.
Sweet. So sleight of hand +5 and proficiency +2, so +7.
Correct.
Dirty 20.
Yeah, they're not really that complicated locks. It takes you a minute, but you after you kind of figure out this generic kind of, it looks like a master key holds is the key to all the locks. You know, they don't have multiple locks. Once you figure out the tumbler combo, it's quick pace from there. You start popping locks on all these people. What is the rest of the party doing while Gladier and now Renwick start freeing these people who start thanking you profusely as soon as they can see? They're like, they're praising their deities and thanking you as you help them out. Like they're just kind of in a state of shock almost. Also, if you recall, it was a pretty late night party that ensued, so not only in a state of shock, but a lot of them are in rough shape. They all look pretty hungover and kind of beat up as well. Some of them look to maybe have resisted a bit and caught the worse end of those halfling clubs, similar to what Gladier experienced earlier.
How many in total are there?
Total who? Dragonborn?
Yeah, like slave captives.
So each caravan, it turns out, is a family, and it looks like a family of 4. So there's about a dozen total between these 3 families, and between them they have about 100 head of the desert goat.
Right. I was going to say maybe I can heal some of them, but don't think I can heal them all. Yeah.
Renwick, on I guess like one of the first people he lockpicks, he's going to look up to them, and if the goats are nearby, he's going to be like, do what you can to gather as much of the goat milk as you can, pass it around. I'm sure everybody's quite thirsty. And just keep picking locks.
Oh yeah, they jump too as soon as they are free to kind of assist in any way they can to everybody.
Can I check the caravan that the bad guys were rolling in?
So there was 3 3 wagons in the slaver caravan, and there was 3 wagons in the desert shepherd's caravan as well. The desert shepherd's caravan looks to have been ransacked already, kind of by the halfling. The halflings were mid looting when you guys showed up, but there are 3 wagons belonging to the slavers.
Can I check the one that was closest to the fat man?
Oh yeah, I'll say that's the one in the center. Go ahead and give me an investigation check. I'll give you the basic stuff, but I'll give you a little something extra if you can roll decent.
While he does that, Glader is going to sit down by the bonfire and start looking through the little satchel and reading the letter. So whenever you get to that.
Okay, so the letter says something along the lines of this. Little Brucey, meet us in Hotma, and be sure to pick up any stock as quotations, you find along the way. It's done, and we need to rendezvous. See you in Hotma in a day. Don't be late. The pouch, it's signed. The note is signed. It's to Little Brucey, and it's signed from Big Brucey. You can assume Little Brucey is the fat man. And the pouch, go ahead and roll me a d6.
Was there a time frame in that letter? I just want to make sure that I got enough of a note down.
No time frame. It looks like someone who's barely legible wrote it. It's a terrible handwriting and scribbled.
I rolled a 17 on my investigation.
Okay, your investigation 17. So the middle cart, you notice right away it's a lot of metal and like iron goods. Like maybe these guys were posing as like iron merchants or something. It's a lot of chains, it's a lot of cages. That would seem kind of dark, but there's also like iron ingots and horseshoes and other iron made goods, some tools, some anvils. There's just a lot of different iron goods, really. Anything from door hinges to not complete weapons, but like sword hilts and things that have already been crafted. And amongst that, with that investigation check, you find a leather parcel kind of wedged in between a couple of crates, and it's very peculiarly placed. It seems like maybe one of the rogues had a stash spot.
I'll grab it and open it.
Give me a roll, me a D100.
You cannot make that shit up. Yeah. On a 1D100, I rolled a fucking 1.
Within the leather satchel, it is a single healing potion. A potion of healing. 2d4 plus 2.
Can you read the letter one more time for me, please? Sorry.
Yeah, I just kind of pulled that one from memory, but let me actually grab the actual letter. Give me just a sec.
And I also rolled a 5 on the D6 for the leather pouch.
Okay, so inside the leather pouch is 5 rough cut gems, each of them worth about 10 gold pieces a piece. So the letter is addressed to Little Brucey, and it says, "Little Brucey, meet us up in Hotma. Bring any stock," and it says stock with quotation marks. "Bring any stock you find along the road. The deed is done, and we need to rendezvous." And it's signed Big Brucey.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so Locris, you've been awful quiet. What are you doing during this time? Looks like Gladier and Renwick are freeing the captives. Logos has jumped into one of the wagons and started looking around. What are you up to?
Well, as I got my mace slash Morningstar, I'm going to start walking towards the bard, just staring him down, and got the spikes coming out, retracting, extending, retracting. I'm going to walk up to him, and I think we have him chained up, so he's probably sitting.
Right, you guys said manacles, so I'll assume it's hands and feet. So he's definitely restrained for sure.
So I'm going to sit down across from him, have the spikes retract right in front of him, and I'm going to tell him, "I'm going to ask you a few questions, and if I don't like your answer, I'm going to shove this in your mouth, busting out your teeth. I'm going to have my spikes come out. Do you understand me?"
He looks at you like wide-eyed, and he kind of goes pale, and he just kind of like nods like vigorously. He doesn't really say anything, but you got his attention.
All right, 1. Is there a key to these shackles, and where is it?
There's a trunk in the lead wagon. Has most of Little Brucey's goods. That's where he would have kept the key, if not on himself.
I'll yell that out to Glader. Right? There's either a key on the fat man, or he's got a trunk on the lead wagon. you'll be able to find the key and get the rest of your friends out quicker.
Yeah, Glader's gonna just kind of stand up quietly as he just shoves the letter back into his little side pouch and head towards the wagon Chris was talking about and start searching for that while they're
Okay.
continuing.
Go ahead and give me an investigation check.
Oh, that's much better. 16.
Kind of like Logos before you, you find like it's mostly full of ironwares, tools and handles and this, that, and the other thing, chains, cages, whatnot, some bear traps, some manacles, things of those nature. But you do find a like stashed away old trunk, and it kind of piques your interest. It's kind of peculiarly placed, kind of much like the bag Logos had found. And when you open it, inside are a few items, but right on top of what looks to be some folded clothing is a brass key.
Glader's just gonna take the key and just start, doing his thing, making sure.
Also, go ahead and roll me a D100.
D100. 21.
You also find a potion of healing. It's a 2d4 plus 2.
Alright. Anything else that interests?
Also, inside the trunk, aside from that, it looks like the nice clothing is, it's definitely fine clothing. It looks like maybe like nobles clothing. It's like fine silk, looks to be almost maybe like a dinnerware or like a formal wear, but it is fine quality like suit. Also in this trunk and whatnot, alongside 20 gold pieces.
All right. I'm gonna take the potion and the 20 gold pieces. I'm gonna leave the fine clothing for now. I'm assuming we probably just take these wagons. Like, I'm just gonna leave this shit here. But yeah, and then yes, take the interesting stuff that I can pocket right away, and then start working on the locks. Helping with the lock.
It's much, much faster when you have the key. Everybody starts thanking you and moving to like kind of restore their own wagons, gather up their heads of sheep, tend to their own wounds and whatnot. It's going to take a while for them to kind of recover all their partially looted possessions, but they start going about doing so. Blade, you've been awful quiet. What are you doing during this time?
So Blade's kind of just watching Locris at this point, just kind of seeing what questions he's going to be asking the bard. Because I've got some questions lined up for the halfling. But I guess for now, I just kind of want to see what the halfling is thinking of all of this right now as he's seeing the bard getting intimidated the shit out of him.
Go ahead and give me an insight check. I'll give you the basic stuff no matter what, but I'll give you something extra if you can beat a decent DC.
$16.
Right on the money. So you notice that your charm spell doesn't last like infinitely. It does kind of, it's more like a combat situation, and he does kind of shake out of it, realize that he's been duped, and he's both angry that he's been duped and terrified that Locris, this tiefling that has been continuously brutalizing his allies and speaking like this demonic, abysmal type of guttural language at them is absolutely terrifying. And so he's pissed that he's been caught and scared at the same time. He's kind of got like mixed emotions at the moment. So he's kind of just now coming back to reality, just now shaking off the effects of your magical charming during combat.
Question. The charm person spell actually lasts up to an hour. So, like, is it different when you use it in combat? Or if combat ended and he was charmed during combat, wouldn't we have, like, a significant amount of time with him in a charmed state?
Maybe. What's the language of charm person? I
Like,
figure
it's-
if you guys were like to take an aggressive action towards him, like put him in manacles
says
or something, maybe that would have broke
you
it,
would-
but maybe I'm wrong.
1 hour.
You attempt to charm a humanoid you can see within range. It must make a wisdom saving throw and does so with advantage if you or your companions are fighting it. If it fails the saving throw, it is charmed by you until the spell ends or until you or your companions do anything harmful to it. The charmed creature regards you as a friendly acquaintance. When the spell ends, the creature knows it was charmed. So we didn't harm him, we just shackled him. He took no damage.
I suppose instead of like, in my mind, I picture like a police arresting shackle, but due to him being charmed, you probably could have just asked him to do it. And so
That's what I was thinking.
he would have gladly obliged his newest best friend, Blade. So, yeah, okay, I will say for the duration, the halfling is stunned. He's still kind of in your charmed grasp, staring blankly at Locris while he threatens his once ally, his former best friend.
Glader is going to walk up to Blade, knowing that he was the one that charmed the halfling. He's going to pull the note, the little letter out of his pocket, and kind of just, hand it to him. Just be like, ask him about this. I need to know. I need answers. I need to know what's going on. Read this and ask him, who's Big Brucey?
Blade will grab the note and kind of give it a look over. Look over at the halfling there, and just kind of maybe just try to gain his trust. Well, I mean, he's my best friend. I guess I don't really have to
You're
persuade him
absolutely
too
his
much.
he's just so happy you're around.
That's perfect. And I'll just kind of kneel down next to him, not like where he could make a quick pass at me, more whichever way you think it might be. But
Right, so you go down on the halfling. I mean, okay, never mind.
oh, I was no, no, a safe distance away, just in case he tries anything funny. But gonna just kind of kneel down near him and just be like, "Hey, buddy, what's your name?"
Alvin, what's your name, new best friend?
Best friend, my name is Blade. It's a pleasure to meet you.
He kind of tries to. He goes to shake your hand, and smiles. He beams at you, but his hands are bound, so they're behind his back. He's just kind of sitting there.
Will, seeing this, but wanting to keep a safe distance, can I just mage hand, shake his hand?
Sure, and give him like daps. His hands are kind of bound behind his back, so
I'll try to, help him out. But just be like, "Hey, Alvin, what's your business here?"
Well, just doing what little Brucey tells us to. This is just per norm.
So he kind of looks over and says, so that's little Brucey. Going over this note here, who's this big Brucey I'm talking about? I mean, as best friends, I don't think we should be holding information from one another. I think it's important to be open.
Well, he's the big boss, you see? He's the one that calls all the real shots. Little Brucey's just like the right-hand man. Or he was. He kind of looks over at the dead body.
Blade notices this and he's just like, sorry about that, my friend.
I didn't really like him much.
Was he paying you well, at least?
Not really. And he's kind of a dick. He's got a thing against halflings. I don't know.
Well, so what's going on with Big Brucey? What sort of arrangement are you guys trying to make here?
He's the boss. We do what he says. He delivers. He makes us sure we get paid, we get fed. We got people looking out for us, you know?
I get it. Now, where were you guys planning to bring these poor these poor dragons to?
Well, Hotma. That's where the boss said to meet him up at.
Interesting. And I guess
Where in Hotma are you meeting him? Tell us now.
I don't know. I've never been to Hotma before. They just said meet him at Hotma, so we started to go there.
Little Chris is going to look at the bard and say, because overhearing their conversation, describe this Big Brucey.
We're not exactly big Brucey material yet. You could tell he's kind of scared. He constantly looks between your eyes and the mace you have in your hand. Yeah, as he's talking. He says, little Brucey does all the dealings with Big Brucey. He takes all the messengers. You know, I just work for little Brucey. I've never met Big Brucey.
What was your intention with these villagers?
These aren't villagers. We're not bad guys. We're bounty hunters. These are rebels.
I smack him in the knee with the mace.
Okay, I won't make you roll to hit. Go ahead and roll damage.
Blade will cover Alvin's eyes for just like a brief moment.
Am I the only person that pictures
Alvin's
little
happy that
Brucey
you're
and
touching
Big
him.
Brucey just like big humans wearing wife beaters, overalls, and bowler caps?
Little Brucey is a fat guy. You know that for sure. As a fat guy with a couple of arrows and a crossbow bolt sticking out of his bloody fatness.
1920 style gangster.
Exactly what I was thinking.
You full on, you do some serious damage. He, if can even be done, goes a little paler, but probably from a little bit of blood loss at this point. But he is, he's barely hanging on to consciousness. The bard.
All right, let's try this again. What was your intention with these people?
Can I? Is there a way that I could aid him on like almost like a second intimidation? Because like now that we have the key and we've freed all the captives, I'm gonna like walk. I want to walk by him, say something, and start looting the bodies of the halflings. Since I am in fact a halfling rogue.
Okay. Yeah, you can go ahead and I'll go ahead and give him. Lokers, give me an intimidation check with advantage.
And Renwick will just walk by him and like see him take the hit to the knee, and he'll kind of like lean down and whisper in his ear, and I'll just be like, "It doesn't make a difference to me whether you live or die right here, because your friend there is going to tell us all we need to know. But if you want to tell us a little bit quicker, we might spare you and take you back to town instead of letting my my friend here have his way with you. Either way, have a blessed day." And he's going to walk over and just start looting the bodies of all the halflings.
Okay, you start rummaging through some pockets. I'll tell you now, every body on the field, 12 in total, containing is 1d10 gold coins on their person, but times 2. So 12d10 times 2 is all the gold that you assemble from looting these corpses. I assume you loot the 2 guys that are conscious as well. So, what was your question again, Lokris?
I got a 25 on intimidation.
Oh yeah. What was your question? I forget. It spaces me. I got distracted.
What was your intention with the people that they captured?
Same as always. We deliver to Big Brucey, and then we take the rebels to justice. We take them into the bigger cities, and we turn them over to the authorities for a reward.
Can I get an insight to see if he's trying to lie?
Go ahead, yeah.
Just kind of while this is all happening, I don't know. Blade, I guess, is just looking at Alvin just to see if, again, what his reaction to all of this is, and if maybe he picks up on anything that Alvin might be holding back.
Alvin is staring deeply into your eyes, totally fucking stoked that you're staring back at him. He's just so happy you're around.
Clap in front of him. Pay attention.
What was your role, Locris?
16.
As far as you can tell, he's being genuine.
And who are these rebels rebelling against?
The ruling authority, the governing figures of Hordenshire, of course. You know, the Silver Queen is the one who cashes our paychecks, without a doubt.
Glader, you know anything about this?
You all kind of see Glader tense up in a very kind of blank, faraway look on his face from the mention of the Silver Queen. And he takes a moment before responding, kind of like a decent pause for answering your question. Yes, I've heard of the Silver Queen. She's tyrant at best. Yeah, not quite a fan of her and her rule and what she's doing here in our lands. Did she send you here to take care of these so-called rebels? Or is it Big Brucey? Is he the only one in charge? Does he get his orders from the Silver Queen? What?
Big Brucey, yeah. As far as I know, I'm not exactly the upper echelon. He kind of gestures, as you just kind of notice now. They all have Rogue and Bard alike. They all have like a little star, like a little copper like star badge, almost like a sheriff's badge. And that kind of identifies them as bounty hunters, but it also identifies their rank. And all but Brucey's little badge is silver, and the rest of them is copper. So it kind of identifies to the hierarchy, like foot soldier. You know, probably not included in all of the intel. You know. He kind of he says, "Not the Silver Queen didn't send us. We just take orders from Big Brucey. The Silver Queen has enlisted the partnership of our organization. As far as I could tell, her and her politics have aligned with our resourcefulness and capabilities, and she has basically decriminalized a lot of things, kind of taken away a few liberties of her people, I suppose, but it's all in the name of good and in the name of justice to wipe out the rebels that are causing our region so much harm and destruction politically, economically. They need to be stopped, and her answer to the problem is us. We We roam all of Hordenshire, collecting rebels and turning them over to face prosecution.
Gliders kind of just rush up to Bard at this point, kind of grab him underneath his collar and lift him into the air, like just full on like action hero superhero movie. Just hold him up in the air by his shirt collar, pull out a dagger from his hip, and just kind of flip it around and hold it up towards him. Now, I need you to tell me now. What is the Silver Queen's plans for this stock? Because this letter says to pick up any stock along the way, so why are you being sneaky about capturing rebels if, you're ordered by the so-called Silver Queen? Who, really, is she really a queen to these people? They obviously don't recognize her authority, and she's not welcome here. So either you tell me now or something real bad's going to happen to you.
He's very confused. He kind of just looks at your words, but he looks you up and down and says, "You of all people should know. You're I mean, aren't you a rebel?" He kind of like looks at you questioningly. You're a rebel, right? I mean, I haven't seen a golden dragonborn walk openly in any street, in any city of all of Hordenshire in months. We're literally given 3 times the rate if we can bring in any golden dragonborn. And, well, me and my comrades are good at our jobs. Unfortunately, we've ravaged the land. We don't see any of you around anymore, except for the rebels who consistently strike at the Silver Queen's iron grip on the nation. But make no mistake, the Silver Queen's influence since the rough departure of the Gethmara clan, it reaches all of Hordenshire's borders. There is not a city among the entire country that does not have her influence at this moment.
They're just gonna shudder in a deep sigh and then just toss him back to the ground at Locris's feet and just walk off, kind of not out of the circle of the wagons, but just he's gonna walk away, put a little distance, and just like deep, heavy breaths. Like he's clearly shaken and angry and not in a good place.
Renwick, as you're kind of going through all the bodies, go ahead and give me an investigation check.
You broke up at the end there. What'd you say, buddy?
Sorry, go ahead and give me an investigation check as you're kind of going through all these bodies. I assume you're searching all of the dead, not just the halflings, correct?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I'm gonna comb over the bodies. I will say he wants to specifically check their weaponry out because they were using poisoned weaponry and they're basically just an evil version of him. So he's gonna attempt to find something poisoned.
Okay, so I'm gonna include the rogue that's charmed in what you find as well. And the bard as well. I'm gonna assume you guys pat him down, and you could potentially take their shit, I guess.
And I have a +0 to investigation, but that's a 9.
Okay, so you kind of just come up on most of the obvious stuff. So there are 8 halfling rogues. Each halfling rogue has a dagger, a club, a suit of studded leather armor. You've already collected the gold. They have common clothes, common cloaks, and a vial of poison alongside an empty vial of poison. And so that's 8 rogues that all have similar garbs. On top of that, they all have copper badges, identifying them as bounty hunters in Hordenshire. The bards, however, there's 4 of them, and they each have a short sword, a club, studded leather armor, a silver lute, common clothes, common cloaks, and also a vial of poison, as well as an empty vial of poison. On top of that, add 8 short bows and 4 light crossbows, as well as, we'll say, 4 to 5 arrows or bolts each.
Logus is gonna say, do you mind if I take a couple of those arrows?
Oh, for sure.
Oh yeah, the arrows are all yours. I might have to have you run back over those numbers just to make sure. I tried to type everything as you were going. I think I just missed a few items. I'm not including like their clothing and shit because I doubt we want anything to do with that. But I have from the halflings 8 daggers, 8 clubs, 8 studded leather armor, 8 vials of poison, not including the empty vials because we don't really need them at the moment. 8 copper badges, and then the bards. I have 3 short swords, 3 silver lutes, 3 vials of poison, and then 8 short bows and 4 light crossbows.
Right. So everything's right except for the short sword, clubs, studded leather armor. There's actually 4 dead bards instead of 3. So there'll be 4 short swords, 4 clubs, 4 studded leather armors, 4 more vials of poison. So it should be 12 vials of poison total.
How many arrows were there?
The halflings are the ones that use the bows, so we'll say 5 arrows apiece. With the 8 halflings, that's 40 arrows.
And how many bolts?
20.
Sweet. We'll divide those up. So Renwick, after basically piling all this shit up, he's going to pile it up into one of the carts from the slavers. And then he's going to look at all the other people and he'll be like, we're claiming this cart for ourselves just to haul back what we need, but everything else is yours. And hopefully it'll bring some blessings since you've been put through this misfortune. And that way it won't go to waste. And he'll basically just offer everything that we aren't taking to the people that we freed.
They thank you graciously, but go ahead and give me like an insight check.
Natural 1 with a +0.
The one of the brass dragonborn comes up to you and says, well, thank you so much for your deeds. We would not know where we would be without you. And he hands you a healing potion, 2d4 +2. You don't notice anything else though.
Logus is gonna say to the group before they start heading out, would you mind not saying anything for a little while about what happened out here? Because it seems that there's others in town that may be among you, and we would like to have a chance to weed them out before they catch wind of what's coming.
Certainly, we'll keep hush, but it will take us many days to leave. We are not going back to Hotama. There is no water for our goats. We are going to sell our herd.
Locris is going to ask the bard. So, what makes you think that they're rebels?
They're rebels. They are rebels. I don't really know. I just gonna do what I'm told. Little Brucey's the one that said they're rebels. We have no reason to doubt him. Every time we've ever captured a handful of rebels and turned them in, we've all got paid. So, what do I care? I'm not a dragonborn.
So, is it a dragonborn thing?
Oh, there's plenty of rebels. Anybody who will assist the rebels, but particularly the rebel band that started it all, the rebel band that the Silver Queen is employing us with stopping, essentially, is a band of his kind. He kind of gestures to Gladier.
All right, one last question. Do you know anything about the water supply in town?
No, I don't. I've never been to Hotma. I don't know anything. Also,
Can I
you sure it's the
insert
last question? Because I'll answer questions all night. Please don't kill me.
Can I inside check that?
Yeah, go ahead and give me an insight check.
Uh, 15.
He seems to be genuine. Seems to be telling the truth.
You have any further questions, Glader?
Literally, you kind of turn around and start walking back after being prompted. What do you plan on doing if we let you go right now? Because there's 3 options here. We let you free.
I choose that one.
You should hear the rest of my options before you decide.
Okay, that one sounds pretty good though.
Or we kill you right now.
Next.
Or we take you back to Hotma and we let the town decide what to do with you. Considering you're capturing their quote unquote rebels. Now, I know you want to go free. But if we let you free, you're just gonna run back to doing this same lifestyle that you're doing right now. Capturing people who are just trying to get by. How do I know that if I let you go, you're just gonna keep on, or you're not gonna just keep on doing bad things? Because bad, you do bad, bad comes back on you. If you do good deeds, good comes back on you. So you've got a choice here. Either you convince me that you're not gonna do any shit like this again, or you're gonna get some bad coming to you right now. And as he says that, he's just gonna unsheath his Kopesh, and it's shining like brilliant gold in the firelight, in the dark light.
He sees you kind of pull your weapon. He's like, whoa, okay, calm down. Hear me out. All right, so my organization, if you will, does not look kindly upon failure, nor people like maybe surrender or giving up. So essentially, my now former employer will absolutely try to murder me at this point, and I have no desire of presenting my neck. So I literally, to save my own skin, have to quit this trade and probably leave any and all trace. I'm not gonna start a new life elsewhere with a new trade, because from what I hear, Big Brucey does not tolerate failure. Little Brucey isn't the first Little Brucey. It's a nickname given to Big Brucey's lieutenants. So, to be honest, I don't really have a choice, and I don't know what kind of drugs you got my friend on over there. He gestures towards the rogue, who's just happily smiling when gazing deeply into Blade's eyes. He says, I don't know what kind of drugs he's on, but when they wear off, he's in the same boat. So I imagine maybe if you let the two of us go, we don't say anything to anybody ever, and potentially turn a new leaf far, far, far away from any of this nonsense. Also, it would help a lot if you told everybody you did kill us, but it would be really great if you didn't kill us.
Can I roll an insight check and see if he's telling the truth?
Absolutely.
Can I aid it?
Yeah, you can give him advantage, or you could roll your own insight check.
Yeah, I'll give him advantage if possible.
All right. Oh, dirty 20.
You sense a genuine that he's being genuine.
All right. I'm just gonna resheath my blade. Just turn to the rest of the group. Just let him go. I don't think he's gonna. I think he's telling the truth. I don't think he's gonna bother anyone else ever again around these parts.
Blade is going to, I guess, stop his charm spell so Alvin can come to.
Yeah, he kind of dazes slowly but surely. He starts being more aware of his surroundings and suspects you of doing some kind of misdeed. He's not sure what. He can't put his thumb on it, but he feels like you screwed him over somehow.
So when they go to, I guess, kind of release this dude, Renwick's gonna walk over and be like, "No. You may have earned your freedom with us, but you haven't earned your freedom with them." And he's gonna kind of like acknowledge all of the people this guy just tried to enslave, and see if the people do anything. Or the Dragonborn, rather.
Are you seeing what their temperament is, or are you trying to persuade them to do something?
I'm basically leaving the decision up to them. Like, if they want justice for what just happened, then so be it. And if they want this dude to roam free and try to survive the desert, then fuck him. But I want the people to have the say.
Lucky for him, the people, nomadic shepherds, are very peaceful, and also the desert is a harsh place. People die all the time, so the odds of these two actually getting out of the desert unassisted, not in their favor. We'll say that.
So they're still manacled?
Yeah, you guys haven't quite freed them yet, unless you do. You last I heard, they got hands and feet both manacled, so they're you're in your possession, I guess, until you free them. But yeah, you guys, everybody, give me a perception check as these kind of goat herders go about getting all their stuff put together.
You said perception?
Actually,
correct. It's not a super high DC, but there's been a lot of sand floating around your guys' faces.
That's a dirty 20.
Ooh, dirty 20s.
So you guys noticed that they kind of gather their gear from what had been raided from. They don't take anything. These noble people don't take anything that is not theirs. They leave all of the bodies. They leave the 2 wagons you guys didn't claim, and all of the supplies, as well as the animals. The 2 mules or so that were hauling each wagon. They leave everything behind. They take only their stuff and their stock, and they begin continuing their travel north. They are still headed out away from Hatma, believing that the water situation is dire. They're off to sell most of their flock in town. They'll likely be traveling through the desert for a week or more.
Far away from Hatma?
Gladier last session determined Hotma is about a day's travel from where you are now. And you guys did do this raid on the campsite right at like dawn. So even though your battle has just ensued, you guys have really only just gotten up from your long rest, and it is now like just barely the rays of dawn shine on the desert.
And you said they left all the livestock and stuff that wasn't their own?
Correct. There are 3 wagons in this wagon train of 6 that were the merchants, and each wagon was pulled by a pair of like desert mules, just donkeys that have climatized. So there's 6 in total, and they don't take any of them. They just take their goats and move along with their wagons. They also have donkeys, so maybe it's just that their needs were already met, but they leave essentially everything that wasn't theirs to begin with.
Quick question before we start moving on.
Okay.
How big was the man-made hole that was draining the river that led to the well? Was it like
you'd say like it was a weird shape, so it's not really like got like specific diameter or like specific specs on it, but it's roughly uh, you know a dozen feet long and about 10 feet wide.
Oh, damn. Okay. So a big hole. Gotcha.
Very big hole.
I want to go around and hand everyone in the party one berry, so they get 1 health point, and they also feel full and they have enough like sustenance to get through the day. And I'm gonna give the rest to Gladier. So if I gave 1 to him already, -3, so 4. So you'll have 6 berries for 6 health points.
Oh, thank you.
And then I will also give you the health potion that I just found.
Oh no. I don't need that. I can heal myself, and I can actually help heal anyone else if anyone's really hurting. I got some little bit of magic left in me right now. So is anyone else hurting real bad?
Yeah, I am.
All right.
Blade's at 12.
Locris is at 5 now after the good berry.
Okay. So I'm going to use my last spell slot. I use Cure Wounds. Is anyone else hurting? Like real bad? Worse
I did
than
not.
Bladen?
I did not get hit a single time that battle.
Yeah, Renwick literally stealthed through the entire battle, so I didn't take a hit.
All right,
Yeah,
so I'm gonna use Cure Wounds at first level for Blade. So that's 8 points of healing for you. And then I'm going to Glader just walks up to Locris and places a hand on his shoulder, and then with his left hand he grasps the iron amulet around his neck, and kind of like glows like a brilliant like golden light. And I'm gonna use lay on hands to heal you for 15 health points.
Thank you. All right, so we want to keep Glader at his word and let these gentlemen go, but we also don't need them by the road. So I'm thinking we take them about 3 miles off road. And since we don't need them trailing us, we can leave them shackled and we'll just let them go.
Well, we could just blindfold them and walk them in a random direction so they don't know where they are. Go a couple miles, drop them, and just walk off.
I feel like at this point, now that we're all just kind of figuring out what we're doing, we've looted everything. Renwick's just like posted up on a crate, and he's shining his rapier, and he's just like, I mean, I heard about this thing where you bury somebody all the way up to their neck in sand, and then you just leave them there for the bugs to get them. And I'm not entirely opposed.
The bard's like,
And he'll just kind of like give like a sarcastic grin toward the bard.
No. We don't have to do that. I'll walk straight away from the road. I'll walk away from the road until you're a distant speck in the horizon. I won't even think twice. I'll whatever it takes. But two things. One, please don't leave me shackled. That would totally suck. Also, by any chance, I mean, it's a wild desert. Can you perhaps maybe return my gear to me? I mean, chances are slim I survive anyway, but a bit of a sharp blade and a canteen of water might give me an extra day of life out here in this treacherous terrain.
Well, I'd say we leave the decision to Glader, because it's his people, his situation. If it were me, though, and somebody was coming after my people like that, I'd maybe see how deep that pit is with them. Or I'd just kill them right now.
I mean, we could let them run off, and I get up to 3 arrows to try to shoot them down before they make it out of my range.
He looks over to you, Glader, with like huge, like puppy dog eyes, and he's like, "Please don't let your fucking crazy friends kill me. Oh my god, please."
Or if you want Glader, just walk away and I'll take them and release them behind some sand dunes.
Now,
Alvin's confused. He's like, "What the fuck is going on? Why is are we gonna die? What the fuck's happening?"
Blade will kind of get him caught up to speed.
He cries.
well,
Sorry,
do we have to let Alvin go?
He starts crying.
Um,
yeah, Glader's just. Man, what do we get? We got daggers. Yeah. Glader would just walk up to the pair of them, toss a dagger down, like kind of like throw it, so it just sticks in the ground between their legs. One dagger, and then toss one water skin at him. Now, I want you to start walking in the opposite direction of this town. And if I ever see or hear of you again, this will be the last mercy I ever give you. I don't care where you go. I don't care what direction you walk in. But if I hear of you again, and if I ever see you again doing any sort of misdeed, like capturing people and putting them in chains for any other reason, I will separate your head from the rest of your body. And this blade is sharp, and it will do it real quick. Do you understand?
He nods. And he clears his throat. He says, yeah. I will venture far from here and begin anew. Certainly, we will nay cross paths, not again. And may we parlay. I know of something. I have something might be of value to you, but I'll part with the information but only one more parcel of water. He gestures towards the water skin. There are two of us, after all. I mean,
tell me the information first, and then I'll decide if it's worthy of another skin of water.
he kind of like
Renwick's gonna
sighs.
chime in and be like, "Are you still thinking that you've got a bargaining chip here? This Dragonborn melted the faces off an entire clan of bullywugs not 24 hours ago. And you think that he's gonna put up with your shit? If you're holding information, you're giving yourself more reason to be dead than alive. We've given you more than enough to give us everything you know."
He throws his hands in the air and he's like, okay.
As he says that, Glader's just kind of, build up the fire in his mouth, like open up his jaw and just kind of like glow red in his throat. Just kind of, put on the intimidation factor.
And not only that, Logus is like the bard could have swore he saw him in the shadows off to the left, and before he knows it, he's coming up behind him with a knife to his throat. My friend, you have no leg to stand on here. I suggest you give us what you know and get going before we change our minds.
So instead of giving you triple advantage, I'm just gonna say that it worked. He's like, yeah. Okay. I was just trying to get a little extra water for me and my companion here. It's a fucking slim chance in hell we're gonna find safety sometimes. It's a hard road ahead. Okay, sorry. The very final carriage. I have a private stash of things I've kind of been looting along the way. It's underneath the carriage, tied to the underside with some bindings.
Renwick, you want to go check out and confirm this man's claim? See if we can get him another water skin.
Well, I'm just the right height for it. And he'll go and start very carefully looking under the carts. He's going to be keeping an eye out for traps. If it's a stash from a rogue, he's going to be like keeping an eye out for any thieves' cant or any tripwires or anything as he cautiously tries to find the stash.
Give me a investigation check.
That's a 3. I'm a very combat-based rogue.
So you don't detect any traps or anything, but you do notice kind of a well camouflaged package, kind of neatly binded in the underside of one of these carriages. It looks like he's fastened a couple of nails and looks like belts, just a few leather straps with a coupling, and he's got like a small package kind of stashed under the backside. Go ahead and roll me a D100.
And while he's doing that, Logus is gonna pull out. In my inventory, I still have a bucket of goat's milk. I remember, if you remember, this is like the first thing I did in the campaign.
Yep, I do.
And I'm gonna hand it over to him, and I'd imagine like after a day in the heat and all that, it's kind of curdled a little bit.
Oh, it's for sure goat yogurt now.
Well, it's hot out here for us as well, and while we can't part with any water, I do sympathize with you and your little halfling friend in this desert, so please take some goat yogurt for the trip.
Later would also
Renwick, that roll, you kind of unfold a few things, and what you do find is not anything of real value. You find another dagger and a couple of like silver baubles. It's just like some weird trinkets. They don't look to be worth more than a couple silver pieces, but you do once again find yet another healing potion. It is 2d4 plus 2.
All right. Well, seems like you're somewhat a man of your word, so we're gonna let you go. But as I said, please remember this, because I mean it with every fiber of my being. If I see you again, and you are not an upstanding citizen, I will separate your head from the rest of your body. And that goes for you too, halfling. I will cut down a man that is half my size. I'm not afraid, and I'm not ashamed.
The halfling looks up like, is that racist? The bard like stiff arms him like, shut the fuck up. He's like, I can assure you one thing. You will never, ever see me again. And he bows deeply.
Renwick pockets the potion of healing and then uses the dagger from the stash to carve Gladier for sheriff on the side of one of the carts while everybody's chatting.
You do see that when they like you guys do free their hands and legs, or do you leave them manacled?
Yeah.
I think it's safe, yeah.
So is that a you free them, or you leave them manacled?
We'll free him, I think.
Okay. As you guys kind of remove the manacles, they rip the star badge, the little symbol, makes them giving them authority as a bounty hunter, and throw it down into the sand, and they kind of take off. It looks like they're confused, and you kind of hear them mumble like, he said go the opposite way of the village. And the other guy's like, well, I've never been to the fucking village. He's like, well, you better figure out a way. These guys are going to fucking kill us if you start walking towards the village. And they look to be like having an emotional breakdown. They've only left the party for 20 feet, and they are already having problems. Likelihood of survival, not likely.
Gladier's gonna pick up probably just all the badges that are any badges that are strewn across the ground, and just kind of hand them out and take one of the silver ones for himself.
So the only silver one is Little Brucey. There's all of them are copper except for Little Brucey's badge, and Little Brucey's badge is silver.
All right, so he's gonna actually. Yeah, so he's gonna pick up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the badges, including one of them being the silver badge, and then just kind of walk up to the party and be like, "Well, we might need these. These might be useful down the road if we're trying to infiltrate. I don't know what might happen, but this might be able to grant you some sort of authority and get you into some place you might need to go. But seeing as he said, the gold dragonlords such as myself are worth a whole hell of a lot. They're probably not going to believe that I'm a bounty hunter. So I feel like you guys should maybe take some of these just in case. You never know. It might help you if you're, in the thick of it, get you out of a sticky situation. So,
Well, which one of us looks the most like these brutes? And that person should take the silver. The rest of us will take a copper. And in a pinch, we'll just say that you're a captive.
That's not a bad idea. Any votes on the silver badges? Blade, Logus, Lokers? What do you think?
So Logus is gonna be in the shadows, and then all of a sudden you're gonna see him step out and looking exactly like the dead fat man from the very last detail, because I can now cast Disguise Self on myself.
Nice, good aesthetic.
So like you see me, and then I just back up into the shadow, and for a minute, like you can't see anything, and I just step back out as the man. If anyone has any objections, I think it might be the best to hold the silver badge.
All right then. Well, take the silver badge. The rest of us will take the bronze. Just pass out the badges. Give a silver bounty hunter badge to Logus, and then a bronze bounty hunter badge to everyone else, including himself.
All right. As you guys are kind of divvying up gear and stuff, the sun creeps over the horizon. It's now early morning. It's bright outside. It's not quite hot yet, but it's getting there quickly. So, what do you guys do?
Real quick, is Sean's mic cutting out on anybody else? I can hear everybody perfectly except him.
Yeah, I think you're cutting out a little bit, bud.
I didn't even notice.
His Wi-Fi is not liking him today.
I thought it was my headphones
Okay,
for a
so
second,
maybe
but
it's
then
my mic.
it wasn't happening with anybody else.
How's it sounding now?
A lot better so far.
Is it still glitching out or anything? Or testing?
Not yet.
1, 2, 3.
So far, it's been good.
Okay,
so
cool.
if you-
Sounds
whatever
good.
you do.
I just had it on kind of like a cloth surface rather than a hard top. I didn't think it would affect the quality, but maybe it does.
Fair enough. I just didn't want you to go on like a monologue and drop a bunch of info and me have to be like, yeah, I heard about 60% of that. If you could just repeat it all.
Okay, I've mounted it elsewhere. How's it sound? Okay.
Has it
We
worked?
can
Yeah.
still. No.
Sounds good.
All right. Good. Okay.
All right. So we pass out the badges.
Yeah, and the sun comes up and it starts getting warm outside. Yeah, the desert starts slowly coming to
How
life
far
around you.
how far are the human and the halfling to us by now?
They're not far away and still arguing about what initial direction they need to go.
Yeah, you're back to cutting out.
Okay, so they are. I assume you can hear me better. Oh. Much better? No better? Nothing?
It's hard to tell because sometimes it does it, sometimes it doesn't.
Alright. Well,
We can just keep on going from now on.
holler at me if it gets too rough and I'll switch to like my phone or something. So the halfling and the halfling rogue and the human bard do not get far. They are still having a heated discussion about which way to go initially. they kind of are stooped, but slowly developing a plan that may or may not work.
Well, and the human bard is crippled since I took out one of his knees.
He's definitely got a great limp going on.
Blade is going to yell out to Alvin in Halfling, I'll miss you, Alvin.
He kind of just looks in your general direction and in a general like disbelief look. Like, he doesn't know what to think about this. He knows you fucked him over. He's not sure how, but fucking you.
Just confused him more.
And as they look back, they just see like the fat man who was in charge, little Brucey, is just standing there now with the group.
That's sketch, but awesome.
All right. Well, should we head on back to town and let them know what's going on? We got a lot to fill them in on. Slavers.
The only problem with
Before-
that is that they were waiting. This group was heading to Hot Mall to meet somebody else. And if we go back right into town with the caravan talking about how we found bounty hunters just outside of town, gives them wind that we are onto them. Perhaps maybe riding back into town isn't the best idea right now.
Well, with your disguised self and these badges, we could potentially use their carts and their mules and just say that we didn't run into anybody on the way. Or we could say that we found one lonesome dragonborn and we took him. But we could try to fool them and make them think that it's Little Brucey. Maybe they don't know the people that work for Little Brucey. It seems like it's a pretty disorganized bunch. So we could always do that, or we could try to sneak back into town and see if we can locate them. It's up to you guys.
The only
Well, I
issue with
think
that
we'll-
is that I was trying to be cool when I stepped out of the shadows, and it only lasts for an hour. And it does cost a spell slot.
I'll say
Well,
I'll
before
say
we
you could have done that for flavor, so you don't have to burn a spell slot to show off a little bit.
Okay, sweet.
Well,
we have
before we
two
start
options here.
heading back, I think it's story time from Glader as to what the hell is going on.
Well, let's before we get to any sort of possible potential story time, we got to figure out our mode of transportation. Now we got two options here as how I see it. We could take the obvious route in, pretend to be this little Brucey with Logus here with his fancy little magics. Or we could take the sneaky route in and go back through the well, the tunnels, the riverbed in there. We've already cleared it out from the bullywogs. We could have a walk through there and just sneak back into town and maybe try and figure out and do this more stealthy like. Or it could be a covert, undercover sort of situation. And
Well, depending on the tell you tale, we could, using this, we'd be able to pull out this big Brucey since nobody's going to know who it is. And for all we know, it's somebody within the town, undercover basically, who looks like one of your fellow village people. But before we know whether or not we should be going in like that, are you on the good side, the bad side, the upside, the downside?
I'm on my side. Silver Queen ain't up. She ain't everything she is chalked up to be. She's not good people. She exploits and she sends people to do her dirty work for her, and her dirty work involves murder, genocide, and nothing good. She'll get what's coming to her, but she's not on the good side. I can tell you that much.
Well, she sounds like your run-of-the-mill politician.
Well, he
I
just
mean, believe
mutters.
me, I know what it's like to have your race targeted against. So I'm on your side to a point, but we definitely deserve some details if we're going to be running across bounty hunters.
Listen, we just met about 48 hours ago. So, no offense, y'all seem great, and I don't get the feeling that you're bad people, but it's going to take a little bit more than fighting off some frog humans for me to, spill out all my secrets.
And
But
no
I can tell you,
offense, but we've only known you for about 48 hours, and it's going to take more than fighting off some frog people for us to be willing to put our necks on the line by rolling around with you. Now, you don't have to give us your whole life story. I just want to know what's going on between this whole rebellion. That's a textbook thing. It's not a personal story. Is she subjugate to people? Is she killing only dragonborns? I mean, that's a textbook's answer. That's not a once upon a time I was born type answer.
And also, friend, we are sticking our neck out for your town. I mean, you almost died, and our little halfling friend almost died here. I think we've done more than enough to show that we are not gonna use your words against you, but we also don't like going in blind on jobs or into situations that could be harmful to us.
And Renwick's going to step forward and just be like, and in all honesty, I don't know any of you from Adam. I traveled across this desert looking for somebody, and it sure as shit wasn't anybody involved with what this is. I wasn't looking to have to free an oppressed people from a tyrant, but I mean, I'm already here. I just need a better understanding of why.
All right then. These are fair questions. As you can see, I'm not the typical dragonborn of this here area. They mostly are brass, maybe a few copper, but not much other than that. I'm from a different clan. Silver Queen, as she is a self-appointed title that she gave herself. She took out my clan. She was envious of our power, of our influence, and she did something about it, and it was not. It's not good. She did some bad deeds, and bad deeds are coming for her. I promise you that, but there's not a lot of us left in this area. Granted, I know there are probably more dragonborns out there in the rest of the world. This is not a huge country, and I don't claim to be the only golden dragonborn left in the world, but as far as this area goes, there's not a lot of us left. And it's because of her. And I will get my vengeance. Do bad deeds come back towards you. And that's my goal. These rebels that she's talking about, it's people who are not satisfied with her quote unquote reign that she just decided she was going to impart on these people. So yeah, we are, I guess, textbook definition, we are rebels. But it's not a bad cause. And it's something I'm going to stand behind. And if you guys want to back out, no judgment to you. This isn't your fight. This isn't your family. Your family wasn't murdered in front of your eyes. But if you want to help, I'm sure as hell not going to say no.
When you say that, specifically when you say family, Renwick kind of like you see his face drop a little bit, but then like a slight grin come across his face, and he'll just say, "Well, as I said, I just needed a better reason, and I'm already here. So you've got my blade. I'd be more than happy to try to help free your family from this tyrant. Nobody deserves to live like this." And he'll just walk up and kind of stand beside you and look at the rest of the group.
And,
Logis is gonna get up and he's gonna. My father was one of the greatest adventurers in our land, and I lived my life of how he would have done things, and I know that him being a good man would not allow him to turn his back on a situation like this. So you have my bow, and I will help you in freeing your people and whatever you need. And he will go and join Renwick later.
Well, as I said, all we needed was a little information so we knew what we were getting into. Doesn't sound so bad. Well, for you it is, but It sounds like it's at least something worth working with. So, unless things get too hairy, I'll roll with you for a while yet. Now, I do think our best option is going to be to go in and try and pull out this big Brucey. Because if he's hiding in Hotma and that's that small as it is, I almost have to assume somebody inside your town is betraying the rest of your people.
All right, well, guess we should get on moving then. Should we? I mean, I guess we gotta kind of decide. Are we doing the? I mean, I guess both are kind of covert options here, but are we going the disguise and self, riding straight in with the wagon, or are we sneaking in through the well?
Now, I just had an idea, gentlemen. And he looks over at the cart that he loaded up with all of these fucking weapons. And he's like, now, Gladier, you live in the area, you know everybody around here. What are the odds that we could arm everybody in the area? And then we stroll into town and see if we can't draw this man out. And if the entire village and the surrounding nomads have our backs and they're armed, I highly doubt whatever group they brought to Hotmall can withstand that, and we'll overwhelm them.
GM would being one of the prominent families in the area, would they have enough influence to kind of persuade this type of deal?
Is my mic all right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. You wouldn't really know because you haven't really like pressed it, but you know that it's kind of a close knit community that like shuns outsiders. So like they often work together in many different ways. You know, they have many different means, but for the most part, they'd probably be. It's almost like a pro and a con. They would excitedly rally behind you, but they would be less than stoked that you're bringing not Dragonborn with you.
Gotcha. Well, I think it's not a bad plan. I might be able to convince the townspeople to back us in this. You know, they're not a huge fan of outsiders, so you might not be 100% pleased that, you know, most of my party is not Dragonborn, but feel like, you know, the pros will outweigh the cons in this sort of situation. You know, there's outsiders trying to help us, and then there's outsiders who are trying to enslave us. So I think they'd you know, pick the lesser of two evils. Not saying that you all are the evils, because you know you're helping us, but you know you get what I mean. I don't think it's a bad idea. I think we might be able to.
Well, what do you think of this then? What if we leave the caravans outside of town and we stroll back in and say we found the problem, but we need help to fix it? Us being in town isn't going to raise any alarms because we've already been there. And it'll give us a chance to look around and see if anything's sticking out of place. The only thing that would raise alarms for Big Brucey, wherever he may be, is if we come in with a caravan that was meant for him. Because we don't necessarily have to roll in with the caravan on Little Brucey just yet.
But would I know if? I'm sure it's not, but like, are they? Is the town because it's more of like a nomadic town, so I'm sure there's not really a quote unquote town's guard per se. It's probably just like people.
You'd be correct. They look out for one another, but it's kind of like in their independence, they just kind of are their own guards in a sense, like because even the all but the youngest of Dragonborn have their innate breath ability. So while they are just mostly farmers, they're all good for one good blast of fire, and that keeps most of the natural desert creatures at bay. But for the most part, you're easily like the generational anomaly. Like everybody in town that's older than you is significantly older than you, and everybody in town that's younger than you is significantly younger than you. You know, it's like children and elderly. Like Hot Maw's almost like a old rancher retirement community. Essentially, you are by far the only mature adult aside from your uncle and Tark.
Got you. Mm. What if? Okay, I like that idea. Can we take some sort of satchel and just grab one of these mules and just put all the weapons into packs on just one mule, and then we just pull the one mule behind us, and then because our town isn't really used to, we're a nomadic group of people, we're a peaceful group of people. Any sort of disputes we handle within ourselves. There's not really a whole lot of use for weapons. So like if we're trying to defend ourselves against these slavers, these group of bounty hunters, we're not gonna really have weapons. Like yes, we'll have numbers, but you know, we're not gonna have any sort of defense other than stabs. So why don't we pack up these daggers, short swords, the bows? We can just put them all in satchels on the side of this mule. Take the mule with us. We'll just walk in, as Logus said, just calm and orderly, and discuss the issue, and then move on from there. But I do agree that if we bring in a whole caravan that the big Brucey fella was waiting for, it is definitely going to draw his eye, and that might blow our cover.
Well, my friend, it sounds like, and I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but if your town is so cold to outsiders and this caravan was going to Hotma to meet Big Brucey, I mean, odds are would tell you that Big Brucey would be someone among your people. Because if he was an outsider, he would have stuck out already.
They did say on that first night that we were there that it had been a while since Tark had kept the place open, so it means that nobody's passed through recently.
I have given that some thought, and yeah, it is more than likely someone who lives within our community, and we'll burn that bridge when we come to it. But for now, I think we just got to get back there. So, is everyone on board with this plan? We loading up one of the mules with as many weapons as we can carry and walking in acting like we're just a couple of traders?
Well, I don't really see how you can walk into your own town and not be noticed. My only argument would be that maybe we just leave the caravan, maybe hide the weapons in the caravan, leave it by the door that leads down into the cave, maybe hide it behind a rock or something as best we can, and just leave the caravan for now, because walking in with the town with weapons is still going to bring questions. You don't just find a shit ton of weapons laying around without some people being curious. And in
Yeah.
this situation, it is prevalent that we be as delicate and quiet as we can about this.
Well, I don't mean just. I'm sorry, Will. What were you saying?
No, Blade is just going to chime in and just kind of say, like, considering the last time that they saw us was us jumping into that well, it's going to just draw even more attention if we come strolling back with weapons.
That's a good point.
Well, what
Well,
if
who
we
knows?
load up
Maybe
all the
those
weapons? So what
maybe
if we
those
load up all the
bullywugs were a
weapons
little
onto
bit
one
quick.
cart?
Or
If
just
we load up all the weapons onto one cart and we take that cart, we stash it in the cave, and we come back up out of the well, then we've dispatched the slavers. Nobody's the wiser. They'll find all the evidence out there, but not know what happened, and then we can sneak back into town and see if we can't get some more information before we start calling people out.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea.
Do we know if we can fit an entire wagon down into the cave though? Because I thought it was just a path leading to like a.
Well, if we can't, we can unload it into the cave and stash it. But I mean, it's a fair amount of weaponry. It'd drive a decent price, and I'd hate to miss out on that. But at the end of the day, we are in the fucking desert, so if we have to leave it, we have to leave it. But either way, we're losing daylight.
well, you can always say those bullywugs were a little bit more equipped than they actually were. Who knows? Maybe they carried around a short sword or two.
I mean, they wouldn't. Would we don't even know if they would know that there's bullywugs in the tunnel. So I mean, really, we can just say it was. Really, we can come up with anything as long as it's believable. But I just think leaving the weapons back, maybe in the cavern where we rested, would be best for now until we can come for them later.
Well, in that case, let's get to moving, and we'll stash out all the weapons in the cave, and do our best to, I guess, sneak back up out of the well, see if we can't gather some information, and maybe see if we can locate this big Brucey before he locates us.
So you won't be able to bring the actual carts themselves into the cave, but if you were
lost
to,
you, Sean.
am I glitching out again?
Hello?
Hey, you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay.
Now we're Daniel.
Sorry, I don't know what's up with my mic. It must be my cord or something. So you can get into the cave easy enough with like the livestock, with like the mules and things, but the cave's entrance is just too small to bring the actual carts. But you can take everything like in the carts, all like the iron worker and metal ore stuff and tools and things, and stash that like in the cave if you wanted. But the carts, they wouldn't actually fit. But everything else, including the animals, you could definitely stash in like the limestone cavern.
Yeah, that makes more sense. Well, let's just get everything loaded up on the mules. That way we save the mules from the desert heat too, because I'd hate to see the animals die for no reason. And do we want to leave any sort of marking on the cart for them to find? Like, do we want to leave a message? Or like fuck with them, or try to like pin it on somebody else and make it look like it wasn't us.
Well, doesn't
I
it say
don't.
later for sheriff on it?
Well, that's fair. I did say that. That is canon. Gladiator, I'm sorry, you've officially been targeted.
Yeah, I figured I would be anyway. It's fine.
I mean, I could scratch it out.
No, just leave it. We're about to figure out who this big Brucey and fuck him up is. Fuck him up anyway, so.
So what's the plan after you? Can you get my mic still good?
Yes.
Yeah,
I'm paranoid now. Okay.
So we're gonna leave a note saying Gladiator for Sheriff carved into the carts. We're gonna load up all the goods and the weapons and everything onto the mules and go park the mules in the cave and then try to sneak back up out of the well.
Okay, great. So after you guys like stash everything, you will still have to trudge through the muck, so it will be difficult terrain on your way back. But it is a straight shot. But as you guys kind of travel forth through this mucky tunnel, once again, it is quite difficult terrain. Some points are like knees to chest, this really sticky mud that you sink like shin deep into. And so everybody needs to go ahead and give me a Constitution saving throw as you travel back to Hotma. As traveling at a brisk pace through this difficult of terrain can be quite exhausting. So,
Logos got a 15.
Hell yes. 18.
14 for Redwick.
13 for Blade.
okay, so the DC's 14, so Blade is the one that failed. But you suffer from a single point of exhaustion, which for now is just you have disadvantage on ability checks until your next long rest. But yeah, you are thoroughly exhausted from your trek through the muck.
Sorry, and I missed the first part. I got the disadvantage on ability checks, but what was the first part?
So is my mic cutting out now? I don't know.
It was a little bit.
Okay. So the beginning of what I was saying about the ability checks is that you failed the Constitution DC as you travel through the muck, and that has led to a point of exhaustion, and that's what one level of exhaustion is disadvantage on ability checks. So it's not severe, but until your next long rest, you are suffering from one level of exhaustion.
Whatever you're doing right there sounded real good. Your mic can cut out once and that.
Okay, good.
So as we're walking, Logos is going to say to Gladier, Gladier, I think it's of the utmost importance that maybe we should talk to your uncle, or maybe even Tark, about this Brucey situation, whoever you trust the most. And maybe they know someone who may be shady or who would stick out.
Yeah, no, I definitely want to have some words with Cigar, my uncle, and he woke me up in the middle of the night and told me to not let Tark let you go alone. So I'm curious what he knows and why he had me come along with you. I mean, I'm not disappointed I did. I'm glad I was able to help and learn this information that I have learned, but it is odd. I'm curious.
Okay, so as you guys approach the well, it's pretty hard to miss because it's pretty much just a straight shot. But you come across the well, and as you look up into the sky, it looks like several of the ropes have actually been cut. There are several decent length of rope at the bottom of the well, but none of them connect up any longer. Looks like all the ropes have been severed.
Oh, well, that's not good.
Perhaps we could tie some rope to
Also,
an arrow or a bolt and try to shoot it and catch the covering of the well.
While you guys discuss your next plan of action, I'm going to take a quick pee break. I'll be back in 5.
All right, so he takes a break. Let's discuss. So there's a couple. Did he say all the ropes are cut, or just some of the ropes are
He
cut?
said all the ropes
Ropes are
at
cut.
the end. I have a grappling hook. I can use a mage hand to get it set without making noise because it could just lift it up and
Yeah.
Blade is happy to do that as well.
Logos is gonna say to Gladier, you don't think your uncle maybe sent you out so you wouldn't get hurt or killed in an ambush that was coming, do you?
No. No, he wouldn't do that. If anything, I just think he might know more than he's letting on. But he wouldn't do me no harm. No, I'm sure of it.
So, Blade, what's your opinion on everything going on?
What's my opinion?
Blade.
Oh, Blade. Sorry.
I mean, he's just kind of, I don't know, he's kind of torn whichever way. He's very, I guess, just kind of going with the flow right now. Doesn't have any real stances. More kind of following with Gladiator right now because of kind of sticking it to the man right now, and just yeah, this is kind of where he wants to be.
Fight the power.
Okay,
let's
so
get some rage shit and some machine music going.
I assume somebody's got a grappling hook or rope or a way to get up.
Yeah, Locris is going to pull out his grappling hook, attach it to his rope, and use Mage Hand to quietly set the hook at the top of the well.
Okay, great. Yeah, you find a purchase. You find that it is secured quite well. Climbing up the rope, is not a very hard DC. I'll say, we'll say athletics.
You're starting to cut out real bad again, Sean.
How about now?
Sounds good now.
Okay, sorry. Athletics check. We'll say a DC 12 to get up the rope quickly.
Oh God.
Would you accept acrobatics for a small creature?
Sure, yeah. Athletics or acrobatics, either or. Whichever is better for you guys.
That is a
16.
28.
Anybody under 12 is going to take a little bit of fall damage, but they will eventually succeed.
I rolled a 7.
Jesus Christ, 5.
And I have a +5 to acrobatics. I rolled a fucking 2.
You both take 3 bludgeoning damage as you fall pretty hard, considering it's like a soft, squishy substance you hit below you. But you do all eventually make your way up the rope and out of the well.
I feel like the two of them fall, and Renwick just like grabs the rope and practically like flies up it and gets to the top and just looks down and is like, "I don't see the problem. Are you guys gonna be okay?"
I yell back in Hemfling, "That's enough."
Logos is going to be on the floor on his back and be like, perhaps yelling right now isn't the best thing to do. When I get to the top, can I make a perception check to see what's going on?
Yeah, everybody, as you guys kind of exit this well, I want everybody to go ahead and you can give me a perception check, an investigation check, or an insight check. Choose whatever ability would kind of be better for your
You're
character.
cutting out really hard, buddy.
So as we're getting out, is investigation check or what?
Perception.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead and give me an investigation or a perception or an insight check, whatever is better for your character.
Well, I have the same perception and insight, so if anybody can beat a 23 perception, I can switch it to insight.
Nope, I've got an 11.
And I still have disadvantage on all this.
Yeah, you do.
That's a 12 for Glader. Yeah, not too bad. Could be worse. I'm actually, when
Five
it's not
again.
combat, apparently I roll decent. When it's combat, I roll fucking garbage.
I don't know if I should make it perception or insight.
Okay, so what was the total number and what kind of check was it? Was it perception, investigation, insight?
I think I'm gonna make it insight since Locris rolled a 19 investigation. I got 23 insight.
Okay, am I cutting out? How's my
You were a
sounding
little
good?
bit.
Okay. Let me move some stuff around. How about now? Any better? Hopefully
Yeah, it was so.
mic
It was
check,
so
mic
cutting
check.
out a little bit.
Alright.
Yeah, it's still cutting out a little bit.
Damn. I wonder if my mic's just jacked up.
Did your dog get to it, maybe?
He better not have. I'm gonna have to kick his butt.
Do you want to try to leave the party and then just rejoin real quick?
Yeah,
It might just be your connection to the channel.
Yeah, let me do that real quick.
Athletics is my shit.
Okay. Am I still cutting out?
So far, so good.
Alright. I hope not, but it happens, I guess. I might have to invest in a new mic soon. Okay, so where were we?
23 insight check.
Oh yes, okay. So, Logos, as you get up here and look around, it is clear as day that there was something happened here. It's just too quiet in this neck of the woods compared to the last time you were there, and you can tell from like the disturbance in the ground that there was a lot of shuffling going on. Like something major has come along in this area, and Lucas, with your investigation check, kind of looking around, you notice pretty quickly that not only are there like no sounds of any goats anywhere nearby, but as you know, it took the better part of a day to return to Hotmaw. It is now like, as you guys are climbing out of the well, it looks like it's dusk, just the sun's about to set here in maybe a half hour to an hour or so, and there's no movement throughout all of town. There's no goats, there's no villagers, and it's pretty apparent between the two of your guys' roll that it looks like every single window and every single door looks to be bashed in. Every window on every house, every door on every house. Their flimsy wooden doors are more meant to keep out sand than anything else, and it doesn't. Their clay structures are not very. I mean, they're poor farmers essentially. They're not very durable. But it looks like shit was trashed up here, and it's just silent. Nothing but the sound of desert crickets as the sun begins to set.
So would you say there's some dark spots right now, or is it still light out?
I would say you have about an hour until the sun begins to set, so it's not going to start getting dark for another, 30 minutes to an hour or so.
How tall are the buildings around me? Is there like any way I could find my way onto a roof to maybe get an eagle eye view?
So, the closest, all these buildings are kind of like mud huts, essentially, but the only actual building in all of Hotma is the Naked Ass Inn and Tavern. And yeah, you could absolutely. You want to like climb on the outside and climb up to the roof, or you want to like run through to the upper floor and like jump through a window, or how do you want to go about doing that?
Well, if that's the only building, I think I'll hold for now because I don't want to give away our that we are here just yet. And I'll look over the Gladier and I, my friend, it seems there's something bad has happened here. What
Yeah,
what 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 is the course of action?
are we like all outside the well at this point? Because there was only one
Correct. You guys, one rope, and after you guys crest the well, yeah, you guys are kind of like right. You guys are essentially standing in the center of the village. Right in front of the Naked Ass.
Locust is going to put away his mace and call forth his packed weapon, this time in the shape of a battle axe.
Can I? Well, he does that. Can I just do a general like? I just want to look around and see if I see anything out of the ordinary, anything that I'm not used to, because this is a place that I'm very accustomed to. I am here every day, all day, sort of thing.
Yeah, give me a perception check. I'll say you can make it with advantage.
That's real good. Glad you said that. Yep, second roll was worse. That's 7. 7 perception. Some more sand gotten.
You're still kind of stunned. You're not really sure how to feel at this moment. Kind of, you just were here not long ago, and now, silence, and it's very clear that every hovel that you could see, as well as the door to the Naked Ass, all look to have been kicked in. Some are completely broken in half. Some are completely knocked off their hinges. It looks like no building was safe from whatever happened here.
Do the lights to the Naked Ass, are they on, or is it dark?
No, there are no lights on anywhere in the village.
Well, boys, it's either an ambush or they took what they wanted and they left. But I say that we do a quick pass through the houses very carefully. If they're hiding anywhere in town, they're probably at the Naked Ass despite the lights being off. And if they're already gone, maybe we can track them and try to catch up with them. But it looks like they've taken the people.
I think of the utmost importance, we should go check on your uncle, Gladier. Do you not agree?
Kind of as he's like slowly coming towards the realization of what potentially has happened here, and then with Renwick's words, he's just gonna turn and start like basically sprinting back to his house. Like not really saying anything, just he's just gonna start bolting off towards his homestead. Um kind of looking in a panic. Like he's just like dead sprint running back home.
Okay, it's not far. You moved quite swiftly through the night, and you come upon your home, the home of your uncle, the home of your aunt, the home of your young niece, and the windows are dark, and the door is hanging on a single hinge and has clearly been split in half.
Yeah, he's just gonna burst through the door.
Go ahead and give me a perception check, and I will give you the basics no matter what, but if you roll well, I'll give you a little extra. Meanwhile, while Gladier is running home, what is the rest of the party doing? Are you going with Gladier, or is there something you guys want to inspect, something you guys want to do?
Blade would like to check with his cloak on to maybe just take a peek inside the naked ass just to see if there's anything going on in there.
Yeah, I will follow a few feet behind him just to make sure that he's not going off alone.
Okay, so the both of you give me perception checks as you kind of walk up to the door of the naked ass, which has clearly been bashed in. You're not sure if it was like kicked in or maybe somebody used a weapon, but the door is, even when you open and close it, it just doesn't quite sit right anymore. It's been splintered and it's no longer centered.
That is an 11.
Look, Chris would have ran with Gladier.
Okay, for sure.
10 for Blade.
So the place is fucking trashed. You guys don't really pick up anything particular except for that the place is fucking trashed. The kegs that looked like the ones that weren't stolen were split open and just wasted, blasted open. Every chair, every table, a lot of like the cooking ware is scattered about. Looks like some of the the blankets from upstairs from the rooms you had just rented the night before are strewn about like the stairway and stuff. The whole place looks thoroughly looted. The door to like his dry cellar, a few steps downward, has been bashed in. It looks like havoc has broke loose here. It's quite full of debris. So we're gonna whip over to Gladier real quick, and Locris quick behind him.
I would be with him too. Sorry.
Okay, for sure. So the two of you kind of follow behind Gladier as he rushes to his home, and he busts in. And Gladier, you find your home in a similar state. It looks like every chair and table has been like broken. It looks like all the drawers have been looted. There's just your family's things scattered about in every direction, and that's just like the main chamber of your home. Your room was not spared, nor was the room of your uncle and aunt. Nor niece. So as you kind of like go through this house, give me I need 2 checks. I want insight and an investigation check.
Okay, and you told me to roll a perception check before. I rolled a 12 on that.
Okay, so the room, it's definitely empty. The house is definitely empty. Is there anything specific you're looking for? Aside from like your family,
from that first check, when I was like first bursting into the home, it was just any signs of life, honestly, or signs
so
of.
with your 12 perception, you do notice on the door that also looks to have kicked in. to your uncle's bedroom, your aunt and uncle's bedroom, there is a large blood splatter on the door and on the floor, like right in the doorway. But aside from that, there is no other like sign of life or anything.
All right. So you okay?
What was your investigation check roll? And Locris and Logos, I assume you guys might have let him take lead, but you can follow him in if you're curious as well. Go ahead and also you can either make your own check or you can give Glade your advantage.
Okay, and you said you needed 2 checks from me, investigation and what?
Insight.
Insight. Okay, so I'm gonna roll investigation first.
What you need from me, Sean?
You and Locris can either give him advantage on his investigation and insight check, or you can make an investigation or insight check on your own. It will kind of like help.
I'd imagine my insight is higher than yours, so I'm gonna take my own.
Okay, great.
And I rolled a goddamn 11.
I actually rolled decent.
I have a
And-
+6 to insight, and I rolled an 11.
That's a dirty 17 for investigation. 15 plus 2.
Yeah, Lucas just like turned. Yep, it's fucked up.
Someone was here.
So, someone was here for sure. So, you kind of go through your former belongings, and it looks like the place has been thoroughly looted. It looks like there's definitely signs of a struggle that took place with the blood splattering. And the beds have been upturned. The furniture destroyed. Everything is just the windows are broken out just for no reason other to have been broken out. It looks like some kind of crazy chaos has happened here, and you notice in your niece's room where she slept, her mattress is turned as well, and underneath her bed is where she kept like her a satchel of her own, and it's she's kind of like an aspiring artist. Like she's young, she's only 10 or so, but she's got years of artwork from back when even like the finger painting days, and it's just like it's scattered across like the room. It looks like somebody carelessly went through it and found it useless and just kind of tossed it. But one that sticks out in your mind is actually a pretty decent drawing of her and her family holding hands. And then there's like you off to the side, and her and her family are smiling, and you're off to the side with your hands on your hips and your chest puffed out proud and a big grin on your face. And she made you like larger and like used more color and detail in your silhouette and things than she did with her family. Like you could tell from this painting that she looks up to you and has for a while. And amongst all of this stuff, it starts to you kind of set in. You kind of realize like without a fraction of a doubt, your whole family was forced from their home and probably kidnapped and taken against their will somewhere. You don't know where exactly, but you're positive that they were taken, and one of them was gravely injured and brought along as well. And you're assuming it was your uncle, but you're not 100%.
Can I check the outside while he's in there? Since several dog shit for insight. Can I see if there's like footsteps or drag marks, seeing as I saw the blood, or maybe even blood drops leading in a certain direction?
Go ahead and give me a survival check.
I got a 21.
From where you are now, you're only several houses down from the bar, the Naked Ass Inn and Tavern. But it looks like more than just Gladier's house was targeted in this way, and it looks like everyone forced against their will, lots of drag marks, were all drug in the direction of the tavern.
Seeing that, I'm gonna go inside, meet back with Gladier, and I found tracks, drag marks. We need to get back with Renwick and Blade. It seems that the drag marks are all heading towards the tavern. We need to rendezvous with them as soon as possible.
Before I respond to that, my insight was 9 plus 1, so 10 insight.
I was going to give you something bigger than the basic if you rolled well, but you just kind of know what you know.
Okay, fair enough. So yeah, he just kind of, as Logus walks back in, he's still sitting in his cousin's room, clutching the painting of the family in his hands, just kind of sitting there silent, on his knees, sunk down to his knees. Then he kind of like slowly starts like trembling with rage, and he just gradually stands back up and looks at Logus. Yeah, let's group back up with the others. They took my family, and yeah, no, they're not taking another. We need to find them. Whatever it takes. Let's go. And he just kind of pushes out of the room, like not intentionally shoving anyone, but like if anyone, like not an aggressive way towards his party members in particular, but like if they're in his way, like he's just like beeline moving. So like not showing aggression towards his party members, but like if they're kind of standing there, like he's like brick wall moving. So like possibly shouldering past them, but like he's just dead set on a mission. Like he's moving back towards Tarks, the Naked Ass, to meet up with the rest of the party and to figure out what happened, what went down, where are we going from here.
Okay, so Renwick and Blade are in the looking around in the Naked Ass at kind of the destruction, kind of awed by it. As the lot of you guys enter, go ahead and give me some perception checks as you kind of wander into this chaos. Like every stool is smashed, every table is splintered, kegs destroyed, sticky ale all over the floors. There is a blood splatter here and there, and broken glass here and there, and it's clear that they've raided both Tark's back room, his downstairs, his upstairs. Like it looks like the whole place has seen some chaos.
That is a 6. I don't see shit.
You're just taken aback by you're amazed at the destruction, like how somebody threw a chair at a wall so hard that the chair for sure shattered, but part of it is just sticking out of the wall. You're like, yeah, contemplating the reason for this.
Shakes his head and kind of whispers to himself, "God damn it! I wiped that bar down before I left."
Oh, that's true.
Wade just looks around and he's like, seems like there's been a symphony of destruction.
Lucas, it doesn't take a whole lot. You notice something out of the ordinary right off the bat, right when you enter. on the splintered and broken door, on the back, as it like kind of just wafts to and fro in the light desert breeze. On the back of the door is a dagger, and the dagger is stabbed into a note. And the note looks to be dripping. Looks like it was written in fresh blood, unfortunately.
I will read the note.
The note, written in blood, says, Lil Brucey had a few more hidden about than anticipated. Ran out of room. Meet up at camp ASAP. And bring any remaining stock. And stock is in heavy quotation marks.
Any chance you could copy paste that to chat or like read it one more time so I can?
I will, yeah, I'll read it one more time if you'd like. Hopefully I'm not cutting out. Let me know.
No, your mic sounds good. It was just
Okay.
quick info.
All right.
Slow fingers.
It says, Lil Brucey had a few more hidden about than anticipated. Ran out of room. Meet up at camp ASAP and bring the remaining stock. And stock is in heavy quotation marks.
After reading it out loud, Locris is going to ask later. So, how many people in town were part of this rebellion?
I mean, I knew there were people who weren't happy with this so-called Silver Queen, but I didn't realize it had caused this much of an uproar to where she would send a force.
I'm guessing it's mostly innocent people and they're just slapping that label on them at this point.
I mean, I think that's a fair assumption. It's probably just people who are unhappy with her self-appointed reign and speaking out a little bit too loud for her liking.
Right, we should go outside and see if we can find these tracks, because that many people, it's not like they're going to just slink away.
And as we start walking towards the naked ass, Logus is gonna put his hand on Gladier's shoulder and say, "My friend, I know this looks bad, and I know you're angry, but I know you to be sort of a hothead at this point, and we need to be rash and think about what we do before we run into a trap. I would hate for you to get hurt again trying to save your uncle. Let us do things right and find them and hunt them down and kill them together. But don't feel the need that you have to run in there when you have people that'll help you."
I'm never alone. But to your point. All right, I will try not to be rash. But so help me God, if they hurt a hair on Kiri's head, I will send every last one of them to whore.
And you have my word that if they hurt any of these people who never did anything wrong, then my arrows will find true to put them down for good.
Well, I appreciate that. We need to find out where they're going.
as you guys are kind of talking about this in the bar and whatnot, go ahead and everybody give me perception checks real quick.
Oh no.
Finally turned it around. Got an 18.
That's a 3 for Glader.
7 for Blade.
He's a little too distracted with his emotional distress to perceive anything.
Lucky for you, Logus is like a hawk. He doesn't miss anything. I got a 22.
Okay, so I'm gonna say, what did Locris get? What did you get? A 7? Is that correct?
Yep, I ain't seen shit.
Okay, I'm gonna say two things. You guys hear separate things kind of at the same time. Your Logus, what you hear is kind of a low hiss. Like for some reason, you swear you can hear like a hissing, like a some sort of noise that you're certain wasn't there before when you last visited. And it was pretty quiet when you guys came in, it was covered in dust. But Renwick, you hear faintly from outside someone almost kind of whisper shout like, "Oh, thank God, we're saved!" And that's all you perceive at the moment.
It's Alvin.
Did he hear the hissing, or was it meant to be like the basically like I just heard?
I'm gonna
it more
say,
clearly?
as you guys are just kind of in this room inspecting the chaos that is now the bar, one of you guys was just happened to be on one side of the room, and one of you happened to be on the other. So
Okay. He, I guess, is gonna like stage whisper to at least one or two, whoever's nearest to him, and just be like, "Hey, I hear voices, and it says they think they're being saved. So I'm guessing it's some of the villagers." And just try to get somebody else from the group's attention.
I would have heard that too.
you all kind of hear a cry from outside. Ah, no! And then, crickets once again.
Again, being cloaked, can Blade kind of just peek back out the door to see what's going on?
Absolutely. You see, as you peek out the door, near the well are two very dusty individuals. Looks like they pulled up a bucket of sludge where they thought a bucket of water was to be found.
It really is them, isn't it? They wandered in from the desert and thought they found a well for water.
I just want to yell something in halfling to him.
Waiters could just kind of storm out. Whip out his
Lucas
sword.
is going to cast the armor of Agathis on himself and then run out with Glader.
Logus is gonna be like, "I'm at Glader. You said you wouldn't be rash," and then follow out with him with his bow out.
Yeah, Renwick's gonna pull his rapier and dagger out and just follow behind.
Okay, so you guys kind of rush out of the tavern, correct? So you're rolling out, and you see these two dusty individuals with their backs to you, and they have dropped the bucket back in for a second time and have pulled up yet another bucket of sludge, and they kind of collapse near the well, defeated. And as they turn and notice your approach, both of them have a very distinct, wide-eyed, oh shit face as they see you guys approaching, and they turn to flee. They both take off running like, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck. The last thing I told that guy is he'll never see me again, and that was like an hour ago. That was like this morning. We got to get the fuck out of here. And him and his halfling comrade peel off running just down the road.
The one should still be hobbling, but I'm gonna cast Eldritch Blast at his good leg.
Okay, give me an attack roll.
13 plus 7, dirty 20.
That'll hit.
What is Eldritch Blast? Shit, I didn't write it down. 1d10. Okay. And that's 10 points force damage to try and take out that other leg and completely make it to where he can't walk.
You blew his fucking leg off. We're level 3.
You full blown take this dude down in a single move. Tell me how this magic manifests and takes this guy down.
Well, since I had my hacked weapon out, it acts as a focus. So I just like swipe down with my axe, which is black and billowy smoke, and it shoots black, looks like a blast straight from it. You just watch as it severs him right below his right knee. So now he has a broken left leg and missing the right leg.
The rest of him just kind of flops to the sand, unmoving, just kind of, and while the halfling doesn't even look back, just continues to flee down the desert road.
I want to shoot an arrow at the halfling, but like get it close, but purposely miss. I don't want to hit it, but to kind of get the point across, like that I could have hit him if I wanted to.
Okay, yeah, go ahead and give me an attack roll.
I feel like Renwick sees this dude's leg just get ripped off, and he's like, well, I mean, I guess you did warn him. And then he sees you draw back the bow, and he's like, wait, that's Alvin. Like, he was nice enough. I mean, he's probably gonna die in the desert, but, like...
Don't worry, friend. If I wanted to kill him, he would have already been dead. I just want him to know that he's not welcome here. And I rolled a 22.
So you fire this arrow, and your aim is almost otherworldly, because you fire this arrow perfect, and you make sure to nick him in his ear as he's fleeing your direction. You know, you give him just like maybe like a single hit point of damage right in the ear to make it feel like it was a close call. And he screams out in terror as he continues to flee.
Blade's gonna yell out, "Try again, Alvin."
Logus is going to say, "Oh, wow." Turn to look at the group. That's an Inglourious Bastards reference, if anyone got that.
I mean, did they drink through all of their rations already? In an hour?
No, so it wasn't like an hour. I meant to say in the morning. So like it took a better part of a day to travel to back to Hotma through the tunnel. So like as you guys were climbing out of the well, you went from having combat in the morning to fast forward to like now it is like dusk when you guys are kind of exploring this. Now it looks to be abandoned Hotma. There's no action or life in any of the houses or the inn, and it looks like all the livestock is missing as well. So you guys can kind of tell that something ain't right. But yeah, at this point, the sun is beginning to set, and it'll be dark within an hour or so.
Yeah, growing up in Phoenix, you go through water in an hour pretty damn easily.
All right,
The
that's fair.
guy I hit with the Eldritch Blast was to take out his leg that accidentally kill him.
I mean, I didn't roll death saves yet. Do you want to try to stabilize him or something?
I don't have anything to stabilize him, but he might be able to tell us where this camp is.
I mean, essentially, I'm going to say, like, with spells as well as, like, combat, like, if your intention is to do, say, like, non-lethal damage, we could say that you manifested the force blow, like, in such a way to just knock him the fuck out rather than blow his, like, appendages off.
Well, that's why I went for the leg so he couldn't move.
But yeah,
Just like Saving Private Ryan screaming.
you could potentially tie a tourniquet and try to stabilize him if you want to bring him up and interrogate him or something.
I'll walk over and just, Glader's still pretty, kind of shell shocked, but he'd still walk over and just drop a healing kit down on the ground. Just like bandages and gauze and whatnot. Well, fantasy era gauze.
Yeah, for sure. Like, so yeah, you can definitely stabilize him, but stabilizing him makes sure that he's not dead and he's at 0. You'd actually have to give him a potion or maybe a point from like your lay on hands pool or something to bring him into like consciousness, but you do succeed in actively stopping him from dying.
I did give you 6 good berries. I don't know if you ate them.
I did. I have a. Okay.
I can
Yeah,
always cast it again or use a health potion to bring him up.
no. Along with the. Okay, scratch that. Instead of the healing kit, retcon. I'm not going to drop the healing kit. I'm just going to toss a potion of healing towards Locris, who's trying to staunch the bleeding to provide to this dying person.
Okay, for sure. Locris, that's your call. Are you gonna spend the health potion on this guy?
Still looking, like I said, like shell shocked, like kind of just blank faced, trying to process everything that is happening right now.
I don't know. He seemed like a peon. I don't know if he would actually know where the camp is.
Just do what you feel is right. He's trying to enslave these people. If you feel like he has a life to live, give him a life to live.
Oh
If
no,
not-
I'd just bring him back, ask questions, and kill him again.
Blow off his third leg.
I did warn him. He does have a third leg we can take out, as Blade said.
Unless somebody wants to chase down that halfling, I mean, he's only got somebody with longer legs who probably catch up to him in about a minute or two.
I
mean,
think it's
You gotta make the call. It's now or never. He's gonna bleed out.
So are you healing him? No.
No,
Fuck it. All right, you keep that healing
I,
potion.
I,
For you.
I don't think he knows anything. They kept putting it on Lil Bruce to figure it all out.
All right. Is that Can I? Fuck! Like, there's no. Who the fuck is Big Bruce? Does there seem to be any point, like, track wise, like foot traffic in the sand? Does there seem to be like any like center point where they all joined as a group before they left?
You did say all the drag marks were back towards the naked ass.
Yeah, like can I see if they all pointed towards the naked ass? Can I see what looks to be where they left? Like what direction?
Actually, can I do that? Since you said they
Both of you,
dragged
yeah, both of you guys want to give her a shot. Give me a survival check, as you guys are kind of looking around outside the naked ass in the sands.
I'll give Logus advantage. I'll help him as he
Okay,
looks around.
yeah, that's cool. Logus, go ahead and make a survival check with advantage.
21 is still the highest. I rolled a 15 and a natural one, so my highest
A survival
is
check,
21.
it's with that high, it's painfully clear which direction they were hauled off to. It doesn't seem to like follow a common route through the desert. It's just kind of off in the desert, like in a random direction. But it looks like a large amount of tracks went that way, and you can assume that not only the people but also their livestock were all kind of marched out into the desert in this random direction.
What's the weather currently like?
You're looking at soon to be nightfall.
Well, I mean, is it windy? Is it a light
it's a clear
breeze?
day.
Is it a standstill?
Clear, starry night. It was a hot ass day, and it'll probably be a fairly brisk night.
All right. So here's the plan. Why don't we go back to my place, or we can stay here at the naked ass, whichever you prefer. But I think we should all stay together. We just sleep. I mean, it's about to be nighttime anyway, or it's about to be, it's getting late. Sleep, and then let's follow these tracks. First light tomorrow morning. That's what I'm doing.
I think we should stay at the naked ass. I don't think you need to be around your home in the current condition it is. Might not get any rest.
Yeah, you might be right there. All right, so it's
Press would be good right now. I mean, aren't we on a bit of a timely matter that people were just dragged off? A night with these people could be hell for them. We don't know what they're being subjugated to at this place.
We also don't know what we're running into, and if we have people that are down, we might not have people that could survive a fight.
I will concede to the group, but Lady, these are your people, and whatever you decide, I would not blame you.
I think we need a rest before we go out, and as badly as I want to save them, I'm no good to them if I'm, at half-mast.
Well, you're no good to them if you're dead either. And quite frankly, it sounds like we're going to need every last one of us. So if we're heading into a fight, we best do it as ready as we can be.
So why don't we take a rest here at the naked ass, sleep, wake up first thing tomorrow morning, right when the sun rises, and then we'll take off after him.
You know, it would actually be better if we wake up while it's still dark. I don't know if you noticed in the last fight when there's darkness, it helps me out a lot. Hey Sean, what time would you say it is now? And say like an 8 hour rest. Would we be able to wake up before there's sun up?
Yeah, I mean, if you guys didn't do like if you do the 3-part watch, which is essentially 3 watches of 4 hours apiece, that guarantees all the party 8 hours, but not all the party needs 8 hours. So it's possible that you guys could get a long rest in 8 hours if you are willing to maybe have if all of you sleep, that's at least one shift without a guard.
Does a half elf need 8 hours, or does a half elf need only 4 hours for rest?
Just the elves get the full benefits of meditation. I don't think tieflings do, but maybe. I think the rest of the humanoids need sleep.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think it's just elves, like full elves, that get the 8 hours or 8 hours in 4 hours.
I mean, I give my spell slots on a short rest, but I don't get to take the short naps.
I think we should take a long rest, personally. Like, I want to pursue, but I think we're all. I don't know. I think we're all a little beat.
Blade's
we
pretty beat.
Yeah, I think we could benefit from a long rest. So I think we should take a long rest here, and then pursue.
Okay, well, if someone will take first watch, I can take the last two. I only need 4 hours to
Yeah.
rest.
Renwick will take first watch, and he'll just pull out his crossbow and load it, and kind of prop up in a corner where he's got a good view of any like entryways into the bar, and he'll just be like, "Hey, for all we know, Alvin might wander back into town, and then we could ask him if he knows where this place is. But you guys get some rest." And he'll just like kind of prop up and have his crossbow at the ready.
Later, we'll also take the first watch with Renwick.
So as you guys are kind of getting settled in, I don't know. Are you planning on sleeping in like the trashed bar area? Are you gonna go upstairs to the bedrooms? There's like a basement like cellar area where he kept like spare kegs and like vegetables and stuff. Like, where are you posting up in the building to get your long rest at? And also, you definitely notice while you guys are shifting around, the hissing sound seems to be coming from the basement, and it is just kind of a steady psst, just kind of a sound.
Well, maybe we should check that out before we start trying to rest.
Yeah, I mean, he heard voices earlier, but nothing ever showed up, and they were saying we're saved. So I'm guessing that whoever's hiding, they're one of the villagers, and they're underneath. And can he look around for like a secret floorboard or anything, some sort of hatch?
I mean, there's a stairwell up leading towards the rooms you guys rented, and then there's a stairwell down leading towards the Tark's cellar, and the hissing seems to be coming from the downward stairwell. And the voices you heard outside were that of the lost bard and rogue.
Yeah. Gotcha. Heard. He will very cautiously try to see what this hissing is.
So, as you creep down, I'm not going to make you roll it out or anything, but you notice that the basement is also trashed, just like the upstairs. Looks like a bunch of shelves down here. It was like a cellar, lots of potatoes and things. The spare kegs. Everything looks smashed and raided, and looks like they made off with what they wanted. But in their process, they were pretty reckless, and it looked like they just like to destroy things. But one thing you notice is that in the lower part of the wall on the opposite side of the room is like a pick, and it looks to have been just thrown into the wall, creating a little bit of damage. But all around the pick is just like a blast of water that's just blasting out from all around the cracks of this pick, and it's what's making the high-pitched hissing noise. Is water at some volume kind of squirting through the cracks of the rock that this pick had just made. You do notice that the Tark's basement is slowly beginning to flood from the amount of water that's being let in. It's about ankle deep or so.
He immediately fills his water skins and then alerts the group.
Yeah. So aside from the pick striking a kind of a weird point in the stone where a bit of flowing water is now slowly flooding Tark's basement. It's pretty much an empty, like no surprises or anything here in the naked ass.
What do y'all think this water is coming from? Like, is it?
Well, I'd imagine somehow it's linked to the diversion of the water that used to run by the well, but
It's similar crack in the wall to the one in the cavern we found. It's just a lot smaller. Like, why are there? I'm thoroughly confused.
I mean, we're pretty near to the surface too. It's strange that the water's this far up, but uh, I'm a little perplexed. Curiosity makes me want to break the wall. The other side of that is that sounds like somebody might die. I'm not really sure what to do with this.
A couple of carrots and a potato just kind of slowly start floating and just kind of waft around into like a basement water stew. Kind of slowly begins to form. There's a few dry goods that he's got like on the shelves and on the ground. That are slowly getting soaked and kind of damaged, but for the most part, it looks like maybe the pick was like recklessly thrown just to be a dick, and must have struck some sort of water source, and it would be odd for a source of water to be so close and unknown, especially for this community that kind of prides themselves on and really it's a necessity to know where the water and oases and things can be found in the desert, and there's no way they put a house within inches of an underground water source and didn't know it. So it's likely that Renwick's assumption is correct, that the somehow the shifting of said river has shifted the course, and now it looks like Tark's basement is to flood because of it.
Do we think that Tark knew about this water source and hid it from the people?
We'll say you can do an insight check next time you come across Tark. Maybe you could ask him.
Either way, that's pretty fishy that there's such a massive water source so close to his bar, and yet he's got people believing that if this well dries up, there's no water for miles.
Oh, I mean, now this is far fetched, and I might be taking a bit of a leap, but I mean, Tark doesn't necessarily have ties here. He inherited the bar from his uncle, and the bar is not necessarily successful due to the nature of the town and the people that surround it. And the well was public use, but if you privatize the water, well, anybody that lives around here is forced to do business with you. And I don't think Tark's as close to these people as his uncle might have been. Might, he very well could have rerouted the water and cut the supply off to the town to make himself the only one with access to the resource.
Seems like a good idea. We need to have a few questions with Tark if we come across him again.
DM, would I have known of any sort of like if Tark was kind of shady, but I've gotten that vibe off of him throughout the years?
Go ahead and give me like we'll say I want to say insight to kind of think back on your interactions with Tark.
All right. Not great. Yeah, that's a 6. Yep. Great guy. Wonderful man.
What you know about Tark is just kind of the basics. Like you guys aren't really tight, but you're not like distant. You know, you're not unfriendly. Tark's always been warm and welcoming and quick to serve you a beer. And you know, he's got a reputation for kind of being lazy. And before he inherited the bar from his uncle, he just kind of putted around town, like tending to his family's goats and things. Like he wasn't really that motivated, and still kind of isn't really.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he never really seemed like a motivated, industrious individual. But, I mean, this might be him. I mean, I never know. Could just be a weird coincidence. Guess we'll just have to figure out once we find him. And hopefully we find the rest of them. And Glader's just gonna find a corner in the main floor of the tavern to rest up and start his watch.
Okay, and where does the rest of the party decide to post up in the naked ass as you guys kind of make your bed down for the evening or whatnot? Where do you guys decide to go? Because really, the whole place is trash, so you kind of have options, I guess.
I want to find like the darkest corner, like maybe covered in shadows or out of the way of the window, so there's no light on it, and I'll just like crisscross it against the wall and close my eyes and enter my meditation.
On Renwick's sleep time, he's just going to go behind the bar and tuck himself up under the bar. If there's a cabinet large enough, perfect. If not, the floor's fine.
Oh, absolutely. And the wheel one of the doors has been ripped off just for your convenience. So.
Lucas is just going to find one of the turned over tables, set it up so that it's between the door and him, and pull out his bedroll.
Yeah, I guess Blade would probably at this point just stick with the party, just kind of play down his bedroll.
Okay, so who's on the first watch besides Gladier, or is Gladier taking first watch alone?
Sorry, Renwick was on first watch with Gladier, and then afterwards he'll go to his bar cabinet.
Okay, you guys take first watch. You know the stars are out in the sky and whatnot. So, what are you just looking for on your watch? Are you posting up in the building, looking over your sleeping comrades? Are you guys like pulling guard duty and walking the perimeter of the building? Like, tell me what your watch actually entails.
Am I able to? Is there roof access?
You remember you could see the well from the upstairs window, but there is no roof access.
Okay.
Gladier's just gonna walk back and forth between like the front wall facing the street, where I'm sure there's like windows along that wall, possibly. Maybe?
Yeah, and they're freshly broken out, so it's no longer like a barrier of glass. It's been shattered, but there are windows.
Yeah, so he's just kind of like taking a like pacing back and forth, along that front wall where the door is to lead out into the main street. So he's just kind of like moving back and forth, glancing out the windows, just kind of taking a look as he just paces during his watch. He's feeling pretty restless and knows he needs his rest in order to save his loved ones, but also like really wanting, like he's like also like ready to go, anxious.
Okay, I need both of you guys to give me some perception checks.
Is there a back door, or is there only one entrance?
There's one entrance on the ground floor, is what it looks like.
Okay, just making sure. Fuck. That's an 8?
I rolled even worse.
We're tired.
It's a 3 for
We're gonna die in our sleep.
Yep. 3 perception for Glader.
So you guys are just kind of you're doing your thing. You're taking your duty serious. You're being diligent, and after a short time, you realize just outside of the door is this like eerie kind of orange glow. You kind of like, what? You get up closer to the window to look out, and there is a large arrow in the sand. It looks to be made of fire. It's just like a big arrow symbol pointing off in a direction with a, it's just a big flaming arrow in the sand. For obviously created by somebody, maybe by using oil or something, but you don't know when it arrived or how long it's been there, but you do see a flaming arrow just kind of sitting there scorching the sand.
Well, that's not an ominous sign at all. Should we wake the others?
Yeah, I hate to wake them up from their sleep, but it's not exactly normal.
Something tells me if the arrow's on fire, they're not very friendly. So I don't necessarily want the two of us to step out there to see what's going on without the rest of the group even being conscious, as much as I'd like to let them rest.
Yeah, no, I agree. Think we should wake him up.
And Renwick will run around and like hastily wake everybody up and be like, "I'm sorry, you're not getting rest right now. Something's happening."
Did I get my 4 hours or not?
Not quite. This is only a couple hours into the first watch, so nobody gets fully refreshed or anything. But as he kind of wakes everybody up, and you guys kind of investigate the scene, everybody go ahead and give me some investigation checks as you kind of look out onto this flaming arrow, this flaming patch of sand.
Logus wrote an 8 investigation. I like to think like he woke up, he's all bleary eyed still and not fully awake. He's like,
Yeah, I feel like Renwick was nodding off on his watch. He rolled a 6. So he's just sleepy eyed, trying to wake everybody up.
11 for Blade.
12 for Glader.
Well, at least Locust is always paranoid.
What'd you get?
No choice.
16?
16.
Okay, so you open the door to get a better look at this like flaming arrow that's been kind of drawn in the sand. And as you open the door, you realize there is yet again another letter. This one not written in fresh blood, but it is stabbed to the door with a dagger. Conveniently enough, you figure that might make a little noise, but seemed pretty silent, kind of eerie that somebody was able to get so close. But the note kind of reads, "Oh, ye fuckers, come hither and play. We'll be waiting for ya, and you better bring every last bit of my goods." And it's signed Big Brucey. It's pretty apparent that the arrow, after you investigate a little bit, was made from like some lantern oil or something, and it points off in the same direction as all of it looks like everybody was dragged, all of the livestock was taken. Like he's essentially pointing you in his direction. And it kind of leads out of Hotma and over the nearest dune. But he's definitely left you a message. And now that you think about it, the course that the fleeing rogue took was not too far from the course that everyone was dragged out of town. It is completely possible, upon your investigation check, that you guys chased that rogue straight into his employer.
Oh.
Well, in a weird way, I guess Alvin's actually still helping us.
You would know that your last interaction with Alvin was only a couple of hours ago, so their camp must not be far. If it was indeed Alvin, their camp would not be far. If he was able to get there and they were able to get to you, it's only about an hour's distance from in whatever direction. And I think that is where we're going to have to end our session this week, fellas.
Well, lesson learned, guys. Don't listen to the righteous paladin and we murder every fucking person that comes our
Hey,
way.
man, I petitioned to let Alvin live too. because he's a halfling, and I did slaughter multiple halflings in that combat, so I'm feeling a little remorseful. So you're not the only one that let him live. But that's probably going to bite us in the ass. Or Big Brucey's going to kill Alvin because he failed, and Big Brucey doesn't put up a failure. So we very well might walk into him ripping Alvin in half, and then fighting us. But it seems like we're walking into a combat because not to metagame, but the DM's not letting us move forward. So
Yeah, that's just too much to start towards the end of the session. I don't want to have to stop mid combat should it take that route, you know.
Totally valid. Gives
Well,
me a
good
chance to
news
add
is-
up the loot
Yep.
pool.
Really?
We essentially
news
took
is
a
it's
whole
the middle of
session
the night.
torturing 2 NPCs, so that was good.
I feel like we were being like overly cautious with everything, and we still fucked it up in the end.
Yeah, pretty much.
It wasn't torture, it was aggressive interrogation.
No, it's cool.
You blew someone's
Yeah.
leg off.
I don't know if amputating limbs and breaking kneecaps counts as like, you know, that's over the torture line, I think.
You know, we did our best. That's all that matters.
Also, slavers are assholes, so I mean, what can you do? Sometimes you just gotta cut a leg off or some shit.
That's pretty fair.
Hey, he could have kept his leg by not returning. That's not on me, that's on him.
So loot pool wise, everybody good with doing what we did with loot drop?
Yeah, just
We're basically just keeping a running tab all together, and then we'll divvy out specific items. And if it's something significant, then obviously like your character makes the call. But for gold and things that are, I think we said like less than a couple hundred gold value that you find type thing.
Yeah, if
Everybody
it's
good with just
nothing
pulling
like
that?
significant.
Sweet. That being said, does anybody need a dagger, a club, studded leather armor, short sword, short bows, light crossbows? Will, do you want one of these silver loots? We
Yes,
also have
please.
12 vials of poison. I would like to take at least 3 of those, being a rogue, if you guys are good with that. So, Will, you're taking one of the loots.
I'll take a couple of the poison because I can poison tip my arrows.
How many do you want?
Well, I mean, if there's 12, I mean, if anybody else doesn't need them, we can go 6 and 6. Unless somebody else wants one.
Well, I would just want one just because you never know when it might come in handy.
Well, I'll give him one of mine and we can go 6 and 5.
I'll take one of the vials of poison. I kept the 20 GP. I'll split up the I found the satchel with 5 gems worth 10 GP each. I'd split those up between each of us, so everyone gets 1 gem worth 10 GP. And I'd take 1 vial of poison, if that's cool.
Yeah, so what I'll do is I'll give everybody a vial of poison, and then I'll give Logus like 3, and I'll take 5 or whatever. I'll give you the number in a second. I'm going through and color coding loot so that I can keep track of all this. Sweet. So vials of poison. Gladier's got 1. Locris has 1. Blade, take a vial of poison, and then Logus take 3, and I will take 4. Copper badges. We didn't keep. Everybody took a copper badge except one silver badge. We all should have those. Will's taken one of the loots. Who's taking arrows and bolts? I'll take like 5 or 10 bolts, depending on how many we need to divvy out.
I don't need any.
I need arrows. I don't use bolts, so if anyone doesn't, I'll take all the bolts that are there. I mean, all the arrows that are there.
That's all you guys.
Does anybody else use a crossbow? Needs bolts?
I have a crossbow, but with my Pact of the Blade and the Eldritch Invocation I took, I can always manufacture a packed crossbow, so that's like unlimited magic bolts.
Okay. So like, I guess Will and I will split the bolts 10 and 10.
Yeah, that's fine with me.
DM, before we finish off, would you mind reading that last letter pinned to the door one more time?
Sure. It said something along the lines of, "Hey fuckers, you'll be returning my goods." And here, let me dig it up. I just had it, and I threw it in this pile of paper. But yeah, it's signed by Big Brucey, and it's a note stabbed to the outside of the door of the tavern that you guys were staying in. And obviously the big red flaming arrow kind of encouraging you to follow. But it goes along the lines of, "Hey, fuckers, you have gotten into what you do not know. Return to me my goods." And you kind of get like an ominous feeling from and it says he signed it with Big Brucey.
All right. Okay.
All right, so I guess I will. With that, I will take my leave. Keep in touch with me on the channels and stuff and whatnot, you guys. Kind of a more RP heavy session this time,
Oh, it was great.
but
Yeah, fine by me.
it's
I like shit like that.
potentially leading up to like a whole session of maybe a big combat. You never know. I might kill Glader again one day.
Yeah, we purposely avoided combat so that Glader could survive a day without.
Right. I figured if I threw in an RP sesh, there's no way Glader could die.
I told
Hey,
my
there's a
girl,
point-
I was like, "Hey, if I die again, I'm probably just gonna quit D&D. 3 sessions in a row is too much."
There was a point where you were interrogating the guys, and I was like, I wonder if he remembers he only has 1 fucking health point. Like, if they'd reach out and slap him or something, he's going down.
Oh, I used a health potion before that. I was like, you know what? Not worth it. Yeah. No. Definitely gonna be playing more tactive. More actively.
Tactically.
Yeah, I was gonna say you took the 2 words you needed and fucked it still.
Sorry, guys.
All right,
All
man.
good, buddy.
You guys take it easy. Keep in touch on the channels. Have a good one.
Yeah.
All right,
Later,
sounds
Sean.
later.
And